conversation backstage. Good morning, everybody. Here's Jay and I for
Good
a
morning.
fabulous stream. Thank you so much, Sophia. She's starting off with some love to both of us. Gifted memberships. Thank you, Sophia.
Thank you, Sophia.
Sorry, Summer Girl. I apologize. I was running late. Jay was on time. I wasn't.
Hey, we got
Uh,
it together.
we are here now.
Good
It's been,
morning, everybody.
yeah. Man, I'm sure many of you have heard of this. And if you haven't, well, hold on to your seats because this is another horrific case. This I see a lot of people already comparing this to the Wasp case, comparing it to gosh, Jay, what was his name? I never like remembering their names. With the three little boys.
Oh, Chad Dearman.
Dorman, yes.
Dorman.
Yep,
Chad Dorman.
Dorman. I've seen it all, and the truth be told, each one of these cases are different. Although you can find similarities, there is just the fact that there's even similar cases is heartbreaking, and this one does not fail on that scale. There is so many devastating details to all of this.
Mm-hmm. A lot of failures, in my opinion.
That's why my thumbnail is what it is. I think the state failed again. Absolutely.
Kind of makes you think of Harmony Montgomery, too. You know, just the failures of the system and these poor kids.
Especially in this case, so for those who are, newer to this or don't understand it, this is a case where a father during his regular visitation, he would get, I believe it was 3 hours every other Friday for dinner. This particular situation, he did not bring the girls home. They did not come home.
But he had never been late bringing them back any other time, right?
Nope. But his mental health was declining. And the mom went back before the judge that set the visitation and said as much. She shared her concerns. While he wasn't necessarily violent, she did notice a drastic change in him. And she asked that the courts, recognize that he hasn't gone to his mandated mental health appointments. He wasn't being himself. And she asked that they change the agreement for the time being. And they declined.
They said no.
They said no, despite him being homeless, despite him not taking his medication, not going to his mandated mental health appointments that the court set up. They still
See,
did not take away visitation.
you know what else I saw is that he did not sign the the parental agreement.
Oh, well, that's big.
He didn't sign it. Yep. Here
So
is
I
I'm going to
don't know how
show
you get
some.
away with that.
Yeah, I don't either. And how you still get to there's some new pictures they just released. You can throw them up, but
Oof. Diana R., thank you so much for being with us.
so these are
I
new photos
appreciate
of
it.
him and he can look quite different, right? Look at his hair.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. He cut his hair all off and can basically change the way. Here's the other scary thing is apparently he's an off-grid type of guy. He is capable and has lived off-grid for a long time. So he would be able to go survive hiding in the mountains or hiding in the woods or,
For sure.
he's capable.
They said last night that he has actually lived off the grid for 2.5 months by
Mm.
himself. So he's definitely capable because his truck was left at the site. I'm getting a little ahead, but so he doesn't have his car.
Right, which means he left on foot. The problem is because the police did not react immediately. It took them some time to even hunt down where he was, and at that point, if he left on foot, he could be pretty much. We
Anywhere.
should do that at some point, Jay, when we pull up this. So he was at a campsite. For those who are unaware, that's not where he was supposed to go, but that is where they ended up tracing him down to. And when they got there, unfortunately, they found not just his truck that had bloody handprint and all that, but they also found the bodies of his three daughters. Horrifically, I couldn't even fathom what that felt like for the first responders. And yeah, I'm curious to see like what is around that area. Is there woods that he can kind of go off to? Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, it was in the middle of nowhere. I can pull it up on Google Maps.
yeah, I think that would be a good thing to look at and just see.
Let me pull it up.
Yeah, they do think he's hiding in the wilderness, of course. Where else, kind of would he be? And I can't imagine, you think, you never think and the mother said she had concerns of his health declining, but you would never think that the father of your children would ever hurt your children. And in this case, it was three beautiful little girls, Paityn, who was 9, Evelyn, who was 8, and Olivia, who was just 5 years old. These three little girls at the hands of their father. Could you fathom the fear? And I mean, it's ugly. Is this is all going to be very hard to swallow, but the fact of the matter is they had to witness what they witnessed before they went at the hands of their own father.
Yeah,
Just
that's
thinking of
where it
those final
reminds me of
moments.
Watts, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because, one had to see what happened to the other. And
Right.
just the thought of that being 3 of them, the littlest being what, 5?
5. Yeah, they were all really close in age, 5, 8, and 9. And I don't
Unbelievable.
even want to think further into those details because I can't. You just, that's who you run to when you're scared. You run to your father, you run to your parents. You're having nightmares, all of that, and then to your final moments for the person you've idolized, for your hero to become that nightmare, that monster. I just couldn't even grasp.
No, I can't either. And the mom did say that he was quieter than usual when he picked up the girls that day. So when
Oof.
she called, like, he was supposed to bring him back, what, at 6? I think it was. He didn't show up. I don't know how long after she called to report that he didn't bring them back, but they didn't do anything that night, right? They waited till the next day.
Well, and they do that often, right? The 24 hours to report a missing, or, well, it's their father, give them more time to see if he calls or if he answers. They did not react immediately like they should. And that's one thing I think needs to change. And a lot of these cases they say is civil. I've had this own situation with my own daughter when, she go with her and they're like, oh, well, we can't get involved in civil. It should be case by case situational. In this case, you have a homeless man who hasn't been attending his mandated mental health evaluations and therapy, didn't even sign the agreement. Mother has already expressed concerns, and you're saying, oh, well, let's wait a little bit.
Right.
Let's see what happens.
Well, and that's what
Yeah,
we were talking about last night. Like, where do you draw the line between if someone's quote unquote late? They're like, oh,
right.
well, we can't do anything if he's late. Like, being late isn't a crime, but then he's not responding. He doesn't bring him home all night, and he's not supposed to keep him all night. I would think if they had a vehicle, they had the mental illness the mother had expressed, and they had the kids not brought back home. Why was there no Amber Alert?
And he had no place to keep them. It's not like your average situation where it's like, oh, well, they're at dad's house or they're at grandma's house. No, we
Yeah,
don't even know where they're at. They're in a vehicle. It should have been an immediate Amber Alert. And I understand maybe not immediate, right? Like, okay, they're supposed to be home by 6. It's getting to 7:30. Now it's 8. By at least 10 o'clock or midnight, an Amber Alert should have went out.
right. I agree. Especially if he was on a strict visitation.
Right.
They said that the reason the Amber Alert was not put out was because they could not say that the kids were in immediate danger. Can you believe that?
Yeah. Yeah, I can believe that because, well, it happens all the time, doesn't it? Despicable. How do you know? Well, obviously, first off, I was going to say, how do you know if they are or aren't? But obviously, they were. Okay, because unfortunately, it ends up with the three of them being found allegedly tied up with plastic bags over their heads. So yeah, they were in danger. You failed.
Horrible.
You failed.
I would think they would err on the side of caution when it comes to 3 kids, right? Like,
Right.
what's the harm in putting out the Amber Alert? So you catch him and he wasn't doing anything wrong. Okay. No harm, no foul.
And not only that, Jay, but
You just
he had PTSD and issues from serving in the military.
right. Yeah. I mean, that should have been immediate, I think.
I agree. And like I said, okay, give an hour to, maybe 3 or 4, but by midnight that night, there should have been a search for them and an Amber Alert issued.
I
They need
agree.
to change it. They need to stop with the, well, it's civil, well, it's civil. How many of these
Right.
cases are we going to hear of before they realize that it should be situational? Oh, it makes me sick. And the mom had repeatedly warned not just the judge who sat over their custody agreement, but the police and everybody that he was becoming alarmingly unstable. And who would know better than her? Who would know better than the children's mother
Right.
how this man was behaving?
It's really sad. Do we know when they divorced?
Uh, you know what? No, I have not heard that. That's a great question.
I haven't either. I don't know how long they've been split up, but this is like the area you can't like drop your pin down many places, but look at this. I mean, this is like a rural campground. This is not like your normal campground with facilities. Um, Look at this.
Terry, thank you so much for the PayPal. And you know what's crazy about this, Jay? So apparently he was believed to be a paratrooper, and he was an elite, the word elite
Oh,
ranger,
wow.
meaning he has wilderness evasion and survival skills, and they still had no concern.
Yeah, I'm surprised. I mean, I know there's a lot of people that are like homeless in those states. There's a lot of homeless people. However, yeah, the guy had 2 accidents in May.
Hmm.
Um, but I don't understand this homeless still getting visitations that aren't supervised. I don't understand that. Being able to just roll up
They,
and pick up your kids and I
they
don't
divorced last year, Jay.
just last year.
Yeah.
Oh
And
shit.
that on the reasoning, one of the reasons on her divorce papers was mental instability.
Oh man.
And then he was diagnosed with borderline personality disorder towards the end of their marriage. And he wasn't taking the medications. And that's one of the reasons she put down on her papers. Matter of fact, here's a quote from her on the court papers. Travis also has some emotional mental health issues that were the primary catalyst to end of our marriage and have also affected the girls greatly. He was in the Army for many years. Upon separation from the Army and transition to the reserves, his borderline personality disorder, aka PBD, and narcissism became rampant. And then she said, since the divorce in the past few months, the escalation in his behavior has become extremely worrisome, but nobody would listen to her.
Wow.
Here's another part of the court documents. He has had some outbursts where he burst into my home against my objections and yelled for the girls. Adding that she didn't want to stop him from seeing his daughters, but she wanted him to have supervised visitations. Travis just keeps getting more and more unstable. He has made huge sacrifices to serve our country and loves his girls very much, but he has got to get better for our girls. Warning that otherwise she would have to keep Travis from the girls, which she did not want to do.
Oh my god.
Yep.
She
So he
did
picked them up.
everything right. She did
Everything
everything
right.
right.
So he picked them up at 5 p.m. on Friday for a planned visitation where he's supposed to have dinner with them. He's supposed to see them for 3 hours. Uh, he did not tell the mother where he would be taking the girls, but by 9:45 p.m., they still hadn't been returned. She called the police. The police at that time, they did little, local areas like, oh, okay, well, we'll check, if is he at this motel? Is he here? Is he there? But they ultimately said there's not much we can do, but wait to see if he returns them.
God,
Thank you,
can you
Lee.
imagine?
No, no. And this is everybody's worst nightmare. You would never expect this to be the end story of it. This is a woman who truly loved him, who tried to go through as much as she could with him, who tried to keep him healthy and part of his daughter's lives just for him to take their lives. I could not fathom.
Me either.
Lee to be, thank you.
So if you look at this map, he came in, they said on the icicle service road.
Hmm.
And then this is the Rock Island campground right here. They were in this area. We don't know exactly where, but he
And with
came
that,
in on this road right here.
and with that campground, in order to, be there, you have to register to be there. It's not like it's not like the woods is actually a campsite, campground where you have to register. I'm curious if he registered. Like,
Right.
did
Is
he
this where
slide
he
in
was
or
living or I mean,
right? No, he was staying in a men's shelter, is my understanding.
oh wow.
At least at some of the time.
Here's some pictures of the area.
So they didn't start actually searching until Monday, like thoroughly searching, like real urgent searching until Monday. They were supposed to be returned Friday evening. He takes sides with that. Who's a meth head and has a rap sheet beyond. I know because while part of me is glad for it, we have to acknowledge in the past few years there's really been a movement, if you will, for fathers' rights. And I stand by fathers' rights. I believe they should have rights. But I also believe, again, it should be situational. Before it was automatic, right? The mother gets full custody and all that. Times have changed drastically. So I get it. It's hard because it's like, where's that fine balance, right? Is there proof that Sherry P, that your friend's kid's father is a meth head? Should a rap sheet stop somebody from being able to have visitation with their children? Like, where does the line get drawn? And in this case, you have a father who is actively ignoring the court's orders, but still being granted visitation. They failed. The moment he missed one appointment, they should have said, you don't get visitation until you get back on that appointment schedule.
Right. He should have been having to follow, but he didn't sign the agreement, which should have been number one. He
Right,
should
right
have had
there.
to sign it just to agree to have the visitation.
Right there. The moment he didn't sign it, it does not go in effect. You won't see these children until you sign it and you have your mental health in check, proof you're taking medication, proof you're going to therapy. But how many cases does a judge hear a day?
I know.
You
It's
know,
really sad.
it's an entire system that is overwhelmed, understaffed, and quite frankly, they become desensitized.
Yeah, and there's
They,
also the he said, she said, right? Like you
yeah.
always have couples who are divorcing and there's pointing fingers at each other. But I mean, one could have looked into this guy's background and seen what she was saying was true,
Well, and what
right?
gets me the most, to be honest with you, Jay, is the fact that this wasn't a mother just being spiteful and saying, I want the kids and he's a narcissist and he's this and he's that. This was a mother that said he served our country and he has issues because of that, but he deserves to see his daughters and I want him to be the best man possible for them. This was one of the few times that this mother was saying, I know my children need their dad, but give them the best one available. She wasn't being spiteful. She wasn't being petty. She was being a mother.
Right. She did everything right. That's what I'm saying. Like, what do you do in a situation like this?
Lori Life, you would be arrested. I completely disagree with you. I appreciate your perspective, but I completely disagree with you. I completely. Because here's the thing, despite him being homeless, he can still clean himself up and go out to eat. They still need to have some type of a relationship with their father. Again, it should have been held with supervised visitation, rather that be a grandparent, an uncle, an aunt, or the local CPS office, or meeting at the police station. I don't know which. I agree, shouldn't have been unsupervised, but being homeless doesn't make you a danger to your children. Unfortunately, after going through divorce, many people end up homeless. Many people are ending up homeless every single day.
It
You
doesn't
know,
make you a danger.
right.
However, if you're
Hey, Flo,
living at a
thank you.
campground, right? If you're living in a homeless encampment or if you're living at a homeless shelter,
Hmm.
who are you coming into contact with? That's who I'd be worried about. Like
I can understand that
that.
sentiments.
Yeah. Like
I,
that
I
would be
get
my
that.
concern.
But I also think there's still this really bad stigma that being homeless means you're a drug addict or a bad person. And that simply is not the case, especially today when have you seen the housing market? Have you seen the price of rent and mortgages and, all of that? So, I mean, we're talking about a guy who served our country, who was a regular, everyday citizen. He was married, had the three daughters, and then
Yeah.
divorce made him hit rock bottom. So it's not like do we say, I don't know. It's so
No
hard to say.
military veteran should be homeless, in my opinion. I
Right,
mean,
there's
you
just not
serve our
enough help out
country.
there.
Right. Take care of them. We don't take care of them like we should.
Oh,
We really
yeah, I
don't.
mean, I agree with that.
Because, I mean,
I
even
agree
his
with
wife
that.
said, right? Like the transition back to civilian life was what was his demise.
Yeah,
But yeah, I mean,
yeah,
you
and
kind of
and
see
again,
here's,
what's really sad is that she tried to help him. She advocated for his mental health.
she sure did. And it didn't do a damn bit of good. I can't believe it. Like, can you imagine this woman? Her three girls, beautiful girls, are
Mm-mm.
just gone.
No, how do you pick up and move on? How do you go through life? I no,
I
no.
don't I don't
I
know.
mean, again, it was in a horrific manner. I hate to say this, again, because we are talking about 9, 8, and 5-year-old, but they were discovered with plastic bags over their heads, zip ties on their wrist.
So my question is, Granny, there were bloody handprints on the back of his truck.
Yeah.
If he suffocated the girls, where did the blood come from?
I don't think they're giving us all the true details, if I'm being honest, and we don't deserve all the true details out of respect for the three girls and their mother. But blood came from somewhere.
I just wondered if he did something to himself, but you would think they would have found him by now if he injured himself and like died later. You know what I'm saying?
Right, like took his own life.
Yeah, like did something to himself and then he like passed away somewhere in those woods.
I do think this will be like a Brian Laundrie where they will find him somewhere deceased nearby. And if not, I have to be honest, I hope that when they find him, he becomes deceased. I don't think this is a man that, and again, some people may take, because I just thought of it myself, the empathetic road, right? This man served our country. He had PTSD. He had borderline personality disorder. The mother feels like he had narcissism. Was this a lapse in judgment? He allowed his disdain for the mother to overpower his love for his own daughters. I don't personally want to pay, and he won't be paid by me because it's not in my area, to have this man sit in jail. I'm tired of these monsters sitting in jail where they have tablets, they have commissary, they get fed 3 times a day, they have roof over their head. I'm tired of it. This man shouldn't he shouldn't survive seeing an officer, is my opinion.
Do they have the death penalty in Washington?
That's a good
Kate?
question. I'll look it up.
Do you want to see something crazy? Look at
Mm-hmm.
this. This is him.
Hold on.
Is that him or is that the guy that served with him? Hold on. Is that picture Travis?
They don't have the death penalty.
They don't.
Mm-mm.
Huh.
That does look like him, and they circled him, so I assume it would be.
Because it says Cairo 7 or whatever, KIRO 7 speaks to man who served with Travis Decker. So I don't know if that's Travis Decker or the guy that
Or
served with him, but wild.
yeah, that's a good. Yeah. Let me look at this picture and look at that picture.
And then here's another one.
How about the ring cam? Do you want to pull that up?
Yeah, I have that right here.
Let's take a look at that. So Travis is still on the run. He's 5'8", 190 pounds, with black hair, a mustache, although he can change that, and brown eyes. His look does change drastically based on, here's an example really quick. I know Jay has this up on the screen, but let me show you this. So you just saw the pictures we saw of him. Well, here's him before. Tell me that doesn't look like a completely different person.
Wow.
Right? So this was, oh man, look at,
I know. I know.
how does she pick up the pieces
She's
from this?
so pretty too.
And
And
look
those
how
girls, I know.
you
Beautiful.
can tell they're well loved, they're well kept. Look at them holding hands. And I know that's a framed, a
Poor
portrait,
babies.
but here's the creepy. I mean, look, how do you go from this? Right? Look at him there. Happy, healthy. He looks like he cares about his image, to this. And of course, don't see why the mother's concerned. You can see it in his drastic change of his looks. Am I wrong?
Yeah, I agree.
Oh my
Deteriorating.
goodness. Yeah. And if they no longer care about themselves, if they no longer care about um, following course orders and all of that, then what do you what do you
What do you
do
do?
as a mother? Do you break the court's rules and end up taking a chance of going to jail, or you know,
And what would have happened if she would have refused a visit?
she'd be in jail. And then who's watching them girls?
I mean, what would he have done? You know what I mean?
Thank you, Shelby Lynn. If he was
Because
already
here's the
escalating,
video of him picking the girls up. So he was coming to the house, picking them up. She said that he was quiet, but that was the only difference, right? This is just eerie seeing this.
So this is him walking up the last time she saw him.
Yep.
Is he like dancing, like bopping
Yeah,
to
I was
music?
wondering too. There's no audio to it. So I don't know if he's like dancing, what he's doing.
Man,
You never know.
you never suspect.
Mm-mm.
You never suspect that
I wonder if the girls were excited to go with him. I wonder how they were
how they felt.
feeling. Hmm.
Oh, Jesus. I mean,
Um,
how eerie is this? Because you don't expect this to happen. You don't expect the father of your children to ever take their lives. Right? This is a man that you married. This is the man that birthed these children with it. And you just but she had concerns and she expressed them and they went ignored. So
so do you think he premeditated this?
I
Do you think he knew when he picked them up he was going to do this?
if he has zip ties and everything ready to go, then yeah, I'd have to say I probably do believe that, I don't want to think so, but yeah. What do you all think? Put a 1 for yes, put a 2 for no. I'm curious what you all think. Look at my cute skunk
I mean,
friend,
what
Agent
makes you
99.
unalive your 3 children on a whim, like
You know what I'm seeing a lot of, Jay? I'm seeing a lot of people say, oh, well, mental health and, blah, blah, blah. Of course, you have mental health issues to take anybody's life, right? Like,
correct?
I mean, that's a
Correct.
given. Like the justifications or the excuses of what you're seeing here. Well, that's what people are saying, Chico. He lost his family, he lost his home, he lost his mind, he took their
Yeah.
lives.
If they just divorced last year, I bet you he wasn't handling this well.
No, he went from having a home, a wife, a family to homeless,
And I
car.
wonder if he like blamed her, like for his situation. You know what I
And I
mean?
and I wonder if she blames herself too. Like if I didn't divorce him, if I allowed him to stay in the home. Where do you see he's got a giant, do you see a knife in his shirt?
I don't.
I don't either.
I mean, he probably has a knife if he's a soldier, but I don't. Where are you seeing a knife?
Right, yeah, I don't see it.
I just don't know
Uh,
what he's doing. He's like bopping back and forth, then he runs his hand.
a
Like
lot of
what?
the chat believes that he did premeditate it.
Yeah.
I don't think she ever thought, even with her concerns, that he would take their lives. Right. I mean, she says as much. He's a great father. He loves his daughters. They deserve. She never tried to really keep him from them until she did. And that's why the court should have listened. You had a mother who said, I want him to be in their lives. I want him to be there. They need their father. And then when she speaks up and says, listen, he is escalating. We need to change this. They don't change it.
You know what I bet she wishes, and I hate saying this, but I know that's what I would feel like. I think that I would feel like I wish he would have just taken us all.
Oh, absolutely. Well,
I
and
can't
think about it.
imagine.
Imagine what she's feeling like right now. He's on the run.
Mm.
She's in danger. I'm sure he wants to get to
That's
her.
what I'm saying. Is she like protected because God knows where he is? And does he have any animosity towards her at
Oh,
this
I'm sure
point?
this was all about animosity towards her. I'm sure. And I'm sure they have to be protecting her right now. But I imagine being her, I I wouldn't want protection. Let me confront him. Let him take my life and I'll take his. Let's all just go. What do you have to live for at this point? The fear, the heartbreak. Can you imagine going through all those emotions at once?
No.
Your 3 daughters were snatched from you. He's on the run. The fear, the heartbreak, all of it. No, I don't think I would survive it. I would have nothing to live for. It's not like I lost one child and I have 2 more. I lost all 3 of my lives. This is my life. What do you do with that? Like in the Doberman case, she still has her daughter that she has to live for, be there for the daughter that
Did
went
he
through
do
everything
this to
too.
put her through hell? Did he do this to torture her?
Absolutely. What other, yeah, Doberman said it. She said it.
The
He
kids
wanted
were
her to suffer.
tools.
Right. It reminds me of like when men say weird things like we can detach ourselves. This is what detaching yourself from your family means. This man became the monster that he likely protected them from. Daddy was a soldier. He's a
Yeah.
hero. He protected us.
God, man. But imagine being someone like him who actually like went to war, right? And did all these things. And then you come back to adjust to your life and it's hard as hell. And you can't, you end up like this. Oh, Shelby, that I don't know.
So the divorce was finalized in September 2024, but initially filed in 2022. She cited that emotional mental health issues were the primary catalyst. That month, her attorney filed a parental schedule that listed the murder suspect as transient. And then she literally said in September, since our separation, it has become increasingly clear that Travis has been struggling to maintain stability in his life.
Ugh.
The mom alleged that Decker had some outbursts where he burst into my home against my objections and yelled for the girls. Less than a week before Christmas of 2023, Olivia FaceTimed me screaming, crying. Travis was nowhere in sight.
Oh, no.
Uh, he hitchhiked to my house and asked to stay in the basement with the girls. I
Oh,
think
my
this is one of
God.
those situations. If I can't have them, neither can you.
Oh, wow.
Mm.
So we have a sighting that was reported just south of Boise yesterday, but they have not confirmed if it was him.
Mm.
So my question is, did they immediately start like a manhunt around those woods? Like, did they do like heat censored, helicopter? Like,
They didn't
what
even
have they?
begin searching until Monday.
Right, but are they doing like that? Do they think he's not in the campground area anymore? Have they
Right,
extensively
like
searched that area? I mean,
right, like how in depth is their search efforts. Does anyone know if mom has met someone else after the divorce? I haven't seen anything about that, Shelby. And Petty AF says he was a really good dad, never missed school functions, etc. Seeing this ring, I'd have no concern in letting him have the girls. Dormerman did this to punish mom. This is more mental break, in my opinion. So sad. I feel like this was a punishment as well, though. I don't. It's more than a mental break to take your children's lives. You know what I mean? Like I don't know. I don't
right,
have empathy towards him at all.
right. I mean, like if you compare it to Chris Watts, he didn't have any PTSD.
He was a great father too. Never missed events. Matter of fact, some would argue he was
More
you know,
involved than the mom, you know? I mean, that's what
exactly.
some people saw from the videos. He always had a kid on his hip. I mean,
And this is what the police said, right? The police said the father's visitation with the girls was part of a parented plan, but he has since gone outside the perimeters of it, which is not normal and cause for alarm. The problem is they didn't say that until gosh darn Sunday.
right.
Uh, Two bloody handprints were found on a truck, while car seats, a wallet, and other personal items were found inside. These baby girls were put into this truck, walking out this door with daddy. No concerns, no fears at all. They were put into their car seats where they were buckled. Wave bye bye to mommy. See you in a few hours.
Were they seen anywhere before, like after he picked him up?
No,
Have
what
we heard?
apparently what they did find is his truck driving down that road you mentioned, and that's
Oh,
how they
yeah, yeah,
found him.
yeah. Oh, you know what's crazy, Granny? Listen to this. Okay, so this is how they can find people now. Check this out. All they need is your tag number. They can
Hmm.
put it in a system and it will show you everywhere that tag has passed through. Any of their, it's like a whole system.
That's
So no
freaking
longer,
insane.
yeah, no longer do they have to go to the camera and say, oh, hey, we think so and so went through this camera. Can we, we need to look at the footage. They can put your damn plate in, and anywhere your license plate has been read,
Hmm.
it will pick up. So
Oof.
I think that's wild. And it made me think of Coburger when
Right.
they were driving, right? Crazy.
I guess it's a good and a bad thing, right? The
It can
government's all
be.
over us, but
I I mean,
in
yeah, it's good
situations
when
like
you
that.
need to find someone, it's good, but then again, all they need is your plate number and they can find everywhere you've been. So I know some people don't like the thought of that,
Yep.
but that's what they did. But it seems to me, with that kind of technology, they could have found them sooner if they would have reacted and put out that Amber Alert. You know what I'm saying? With that kind of technology and an Amber Alert, they probably could have found these kids.
Right. And what's really sad to think about is they were picked up at 5 p.m., right? They were supposed to be returned by 8 p.m. She waited until 9:30 p.m. and even told the officers that, he's never done this before. He's never not responded to me. This is new for him, but he has been experiencing some mental health issues. Even with that, they still didn't act immediately. I mean, I know in situations like this, we want to blame everybody, including the perp. But I'm telling you, I do find that it is the judge is wrong, that the police were wrong to sit on it. I don't know.
Oh,
And it's like,
wait.
what did he
We've
do?
got a new thing.
I was just thinking that, Michelle. I don't
Here's
know.
a new report from the Daily Mail. Let's pull this up. His last word, chilling final word.
Oh, they're such clickbaiters.
I know they are, but they always get the scoop and they have good pictures. Chilling final words of killer dad before he murdered 3 daughters, and mom's gut wrenching text when she realized they were gone. Oh, you have to pay? Look at 50 cents. Really?
Yeah, and then they'll charge you $50 next time you blink.
Wow. Screw you, Daily
Daily
Mail.
Mail. You foul.
Is this one able to read? Yeah, of course. The
And,
new
and
one
not
you have
only
to pay.
that, but he was involved in a crash on May 4th, another one on May 27th. Right there shows that he's erratic. His whole life is his looks are deteriorating. His self care's deteriorating. He's in 2 car accidents in less than 3 weeks. I mean, imagine what this mother felt like having to say, going to the judge and saying, Your Honor, I'm concerned for the safety of my kids, and him turning around and saying, Nope, schedule remains. He gets custody Friday, 5 to
Even
8.
though he didn't sign the damn custody agreement, the
Even though he
parenting
didn't sign
agreement.
it. Right. Yeah, I'm sorry, I would sue the shit out of them.
Oh, I would have
I
went
know
hard
that's
for
not what
that.
she's thinking about right now, obviously, but in the long run, I do hope that these places are held accountable and changes take place. That's like Harmony Montgomery's mother getting that settlement. Does the money solve the issue? No, but if they get
No.
a large settlement like she did, I hope she utilizes those funds to go forward and make sure that there's changes.
Right.
Set up some type of organization, or I don't know. Nothing's going to
Well,
change
here's
it though.
another thing though about this Travis is that he had a dog. His
Mhm.
dog was like his wife said, the dog and the kids were the 2 things in life that made him happy, which is crazy. And he told her he was trying to give away his dog. He was thinking about giving away his dog.
Well, right there says he's
So there's
detached from the
another
things that
red
he
flag.
loves.
Mhm.
Right.
That's another red flag. And she told the police that. Like he's
Ugh.
talking about giving away his dog, which was, concerning. And the kids were the next important thing. So, like, she's like, wait a minute. He's talking about giving away his dog, and the kids and the dog are the most important thing. And my kids aren't home. We got a problem.
Right. Oh, you know how I mentioned that campground, you usually have to register to be there?
Yeah.
He did not register because the officer checked with the park ranger who confirmed Decker was not registered to stay at any campsite.
Oh, so he was living at a shelter then. He must have taken them there just to do this.
Mm-hmm.
But the Daily Mail reports that the wrists were bound with zip ties and each of them had been suffocated with a plastic bag.
Mm-hmm.
Ugh.
They were married for 7 years,
Wow.
and the divorce was in 2022.
And how old were the girls? 5,
5, 8, and
7,
9.
5, 8, and 9.
The divorce was civil, and Decker wasn't homeless at the time and had been granted overnight visits in the beginning. However, when he lost housing, the parenting plan was readdressed to accommodate accordingly. The girl's mother denied any domestic violence during their marriage, but did mention moments of power or control he used. She provided the examples of randomly leaving or waking her up by screaming at her in the middle of the night. She also said near the end of marriage he was diagnosed with borderline personality disorder that she believed he currently does not take the medications for. The visit on Friday didn't have issues, the girl's mother told detectives, but she noted Decker was quieter than usual, which was out of character. An affidavit filed on Tuesday noted the girls had been found in the afternoon on Monday after their father's truck was found by law enforcement near the Rock Island campground close to Leavenworth. The girls were found close to the truck and showed signs of being zip-tied before asphyxiated by plastic bags.
God.
He faces 3 counts of first-degree murder and 3 counts of first-degree kidnapping. She did. She went to the courts and told the judge about his escalating behaviors, about him not going into the mental health mandated treatments and everything, and they still kept his visitations for Fridays. She went back and said he doesn't even have housing at this point. He's not following any of the guidelines that were set forth, and still yet has visitation.
Yeah, they should have had it supervised, and she should have known where he was going to be when he had those girls, since he didn't have a home to take them to,
Right. Which is why it should have been set through the court systems to have him have them at like a local, CPS center or something of the sort. Oh.
These are all from before he went missing. I wonder where they got these from.
And then what caused the bloody handprint?
I don't know. They're just so cute. I just can't. I can't.
This is just insane.
It really is. So he joined the army in 2012 and served a tour in Afghanistan 2 years later.
And then he transferred to the Washington National Guard in 2021.
Yeah, he has advanced combat training and was an airborne paratrooper who earned the elite rank of ranger. So he has excellent wilderness and survival skills. So maybe, well, I don't know.
And here's the other really scary part, Jay, is that if he did premeditate this, did he put supplies out in the woods for him to survive off of? Did that give him more of an advancement?
Here's another red flag. He stopped attending the mandatory monthly drills for the reserves or the National Guard a little over a year ago, and the Guard was in the process of a disciplinary discharge. So sad.
It does sound to me like he would have this set up. Right. How would he want to survive after this? That's a great question. That's why I myself personally believe that he's no longer with us. He likely took his own life, but we won't know. We won't know until they know. And in the meantime, I can't imagine the fear that the mother's living through, knowing that he's out there somewhere. He's lost his mind. He's taken my children's lives, and we can't find him. And he is capable of surviving in the wilderness.
He was supposed to seek mental health treatment and anger management counseling as part of a parenting plan, but there was no sign he followed through with the plan, which he refused to sign.
Which means he shouldn't have been allowed the visitation. They fucking failed.
She said that the girls had a good relationship with him and enjoy their time with him.
It's even scarier.
She tried to do the right thing for her girls.
I mean, you have to, and I hate to say this, but you have to think of their final moments. How terrified were these girls? I
think about the oldest one.
And they're close in age, 8 and 9. I can fathom them either hugging each other, running. I mean, there's so many, and I don't want to think of any of them, but there are so many scenarios to think of their final moments, and I'm sure that is tearing their mother apart. Right. What's the point if they don't enforce it? If he doesn't sign to the agreement, he doesn't get the agreement. I can't believe that they even gave him the opportunity to still have visitations, but he never signed the damn document.
I know, blows my mind. Here's the locations, guys. He picked them up in Wenatchee over here on Friday. And then he drove 38 miles to the Rock Island campground near Leavenworth. And that's where they found his truck.
Mm.
So Friday to Monday, all weekend. And did they say when they thought the girls actually died? Was it right away?
They haven't
Were they
stated.
there a while?
Yep, they haven't stated that. I would be curious myself. Was it shortly after he picked them up? Was it Friday night? Was it Saturday night? Did he see that there was an alert out for them and he immediately, did that make him escalate? Like what? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Those kids were fouled by the courts. Absolutely, they were. They were fouled by the courts. They were fouled by the police for not putting out an immediate Amber Alert. They were fouled by the judge who didn't listen to the mother's concerns. They were fouled by the attorneys that allowed, if I was her attorney, he didn't even sign it, Your Honor. I don't get it. I don't get it.
No, that should have been signed and he should have had to adhere to it.
I
The
said the
autopsy
same
is the
thing, B.
report.
Timms. Sorry.
No, it's okay. Sorry.
No. Go ahead.
Flo
Sorry.
said the autopsy report is due out today.
Mm.
So we'll have more information on like the times of murders and stuff.
And then
Just
look,
wondered.
in September 2024, her attorney filed a modification to the parental schedule with the documents allegedly stating that Decker had neglected his parental duties towards the child and has a long-term emotional or physical problem that gets in the way of his ability to parent. They also allegedly asked that Decker be evaluated for anger management, domestic violence, and a full psychiatric evaluation by a licensed psychiatrist to include any potential diagnosis. They also wanted him to start having counseling sessions at least twice a week. Then they note that he didn't follow through with any of these things, and that if he continues to not follow through, the mother will have the choice to further limit visitations, but yet the judge said no. The judge said no. Despite all of that, the judge said no. No, the minute he missed his visitation or his therapy appointments, and she went back and said, "Look, he's now homeless. His behavior has gotten increasingly worrisome," and the judge still allowed his visitations. He failed them.
He don't look good here. His teeth and everything.
No.
Do you think that he could have gotten into drugs?
I don't know.
I mean,
but
a
he
lot
looks
of
nothing
people
like himself.
I mean, a lot of people with mental illness, right? If they're not taking their meds and shit, they may try to self-medicate with other substances. It happens, you know. I'm just wondering if there's more involved than what we know. Oh, there's the Sheriff Morrison. We all like looking at him. Just
Yeah,
saying.
he's a handsome fella.
He is. But yeah, I mean, their update last night what didn't really have much.
To say.
No, not really. They're not verifying any sightings or anything like that, so it's weird. Like
They're just
maybe we'll
saying they're
get
bringing
another
in
update
extra
today.
people. Where the manhunt still goes on. We're bringing in extra people. They told everybody that he is familiar and capable of living off grid. You know,
Yeah, the guy totally. I mean, if they were just in court in September for their custody issues, I would say probably the past 6 months he's deteriorated a
yeah.
lot.
Well, hence why she went back in September, right? And said, this is what's going on. And can we do these things, which was to include him going to therapy twice a week, all of those things. And yet when she went back and pointed out that he's not following up with these things.
Yeah, it should have been court mandated. I'm sorry.
When he didn't sign the agreement, it should have been no agreement at all.
Well, think about it. If this dude cut his hair and shaved his face, I don't think we'd recognize him.
Washington. Yeah, and there are plenty of photos of him out there with his face, his head shaved and his face. He just looks like a completely different person.
You got the ponytail. I mean, he looks like Uncle Taco.
And I'm sure he's since shaved all of that and cut his hair and everything.
Is this like a driver's license? This must be a driver's license pic. That's what it looks like. Or what? Okay, so what's the deal with these accidents he was in? Do you have copies of those?
No, that's a good idea, though.
I want to know what happened with that because one was a hit and run. Let's see if we can find that. I think the documents were out there.
Gosh, the memorial site's beautiful.
Oh, they have one? Share it.
Yeah. It's actually my thumbnail, but here, let me pull this up. Oh, why'd I just exit?
Oh, authorities, this is 10 hours ago. Authorities in Washington state said the father wanted blah, 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 may have scoped out a hiding location before going off the grid using his outdoor survival skills.
That's exactly what I was suspecting.
Okay, yeah. So they talked to his dad, and his dad told police that he's well versed in outdoor survival, a skill that may have assisted his efforts to avoid detection. In addition to being an outdoorsman, Decker went to mountain survival school and served in the U.S. Army. This is his dad. At times he would go out and would be leaving off grid for sometimes up to 2.5 months. So we understand that that's a possibility, that he could have scoped out this area before, put supplies out there, and has the ability and the knowledge to survive for a long period of time.
And if he planned this out, that makes it even more worrisome.
And then they
That she
said
would have
they
plotted.
spoke directly to him and said, Travis, this is the cops. If you're out there seeing us, we'd like you to turn yourself in. We want a peaceful resolution to this, but we're not going to relinquish our efforts. So please turn yourself in. Let's wrap this up and do what's right for your kids.
He didn't care about his kids. If that plea's not going to work if he just took their lives. I mean, I hate those stupid type of pleas. You tell this motherfucker, if we have to find you, we're going to kill you on sight. So if you want a chance to ever breathe again, turn yourself forward, you coward. That should be the response.
Maybe they're trying to play on his feelings, though. Like
from the monster that just took their lives.
I know, Granny, I know.
It's like, come on, give it a rest.
So the girls were found 75 to 100 yards past the vehicle. So they came upon his truck. And then they went past the truck down a small embankment, and that's where they found the girl.
Horrifying.
And he was nowhere to be found, but they traced his cell phone, and it revealed that he visited the same campground the day before.
So he likely planned.
So maybe that's why they think he put supplies out there. And he's originally from Wisconsin. Did you know this?
No.
I did not know this. Okay.
Where's his parents at?
They must be in Wisconsin, I guess. He's a native of Pewaukee, 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 Wisconsin, and graduated from Pewaukee High School in the Milwaukee metropolitan area. One of Travis Decker's previous addresses included an Army P.O. box. He was a member of a standout 2010 Pewaukee wrestling team that went to the state finals. And his brother, TJ Decker, said Travis Decker graduated from the school in 2010.
Somebody just asked, did they test the handprint to see if it was his? I'm sure they did, but I did see somebody else say, I heard an attorney speak on it that said that they shouldn't be charging him with homicide yet. Because there's like no proof that because he wasn't by the bodies or something is what the guy said. And I'm like, huh? Okay. Oh, look, thank you so much.
What if someone killed them and him? I don't think that happens.
Is there a possibility? Absolutely. Would they know that by now? I'm sure.
Yeah, they definitely know whose handprints those are, and they
Oh, this
definitely
isn't the
know whose
one.
blood it is. Is it his
Right.
blood or somebody else's?
This isn't the article they had behind the paywall.
No, the new one they have behind the paywall. So yeah, from Wisconsin. Interesting. Oh,
What you
on.
find?
Cause of death
Thank you, Purple.
revealed.
Good morning to you as well. Oh, is
Here,
it out
let's
now?
watch this. This is a new, I don't know. This is new from Fox.
He is, bless Gigi. Thank you so much, Purple Dragon. All right,
This just
pull
popped
this
up for me. This is
Let me remove
says
mine.
update cause of death revealed. So let's see what they say.
Full screen us.
Information developing as law
Can you hear
enforcement
it okay?
agencies are
Yeah, can you
continuing
just full
an
screen? There you
extensive
go.
search
Thank you.
for Travis Decker, the man wanted for the kidnapping and murder of his 3 daughters in Wenatchee, that is over in Washington. Now, on Wednesday afternoon, aerial and ground operations were underway with additional.
There you go.
I see that answered
Yep.
my question, didn't it? So they
Sure
are
did.
doing that. It's wild though, because we don't see any like footage of that. You know, usually when there's manhunts and stuff, we see
We'll see a
like
lot
the
of that.
news. Yeah.
Right. Where's
Federal
the
investigators.
Oops, sorry.
No, it's okay. I was just gonna say, where's the private intelligence group to go hunt this manhunt?
Oh God.
Skedaddle. Bye bye.
With their fake satellites.
Yeah.
Joining in on the manhunt.
And they get
Authorities
on it.
are on site at the Johnny Creek campground looking. Now, the sheriff's office there and partner agencies are conducting a large-scale search across the county, including local national forest and wilderness areas. The Spokane County Sheriff's Office has provided helicopters to assist in the search, and the Air Support Unit is also conducting air operations in a similar area. A reward of up to $20,000 being offered for information that leads to Decker's arrest.
Okay, but now
it's always 20,000, man.
They have 50,000 on Sebastian Rogers' head, but 20,000 on a guy that just zip tied and suffocated his 3 kids.
Right.
And has all these elite skills.
And not only that, but they also say, do not approach. Do not approach. Do not approach. He's a danger. Do not approach. And then you're, yeah.
Yeah, the fuck?
He is considered to be armed and dangerous. Law enforcement urging anyone with information not to approach him, but to contact authorities right away if they do see him. Now, according to investigators there, they said, quote, the numerous tips that have come in from the public is greatly appreciated, along with the many offers for assistance from off-road vehicle owners and backcountry experts to provide guide services, equipment, and even horses if needed. Again, that was a statement from investigators. Those Wenatchee girls, ages 5, 8, and 9, were reported missing on Friday, May 30th, and sadly found dead on Monday. The Washington State Patrol was contacted Friday night to request an Amber Alert, but it did not meet the required criteria.
There you go. Friday night, they were reached out to put the Amber Alert out, but they didn't do it. That was the choice right there that I think could have saved these girls' lives. Do you not agree?
Of course I agree. They failed them. That's my whole thing.
Amber Alert, but it did not meet the required criteria, according to investigators.
And why not?
On Saturday, Wenatchee.
It's just fucking shocking to me. They said
why not?
Because they weren't in immediate danger, remember?
But they were, obviously, right? So who determines that?
Exactly. That's
Who's
what needs to be addressed, right?
That's exactly what needs to be addressed. Who determines
what
what is immediate danger or not?
Well, they fucking bent the rules, right, in Tennessee for Sebastian Rogers and gave him an Amber Alert, even though it didn't meet the criteria.
Right. Well, because he, with the autism, and they said that he wouldn't be able to find his way home alone.
Right. But they bent the rules because that's really not the Amber Alert. The Amber Alert is a vehicle, imminent danger of death. And I think what was the other thing that we went over? We went over it last night. Imminent danger, a vehicle has to be involved, and an abduction. So
there are different.
Not returned.
Sorry, there are different alerts, right? Like they can now do like imminent alert, or they can do an invasive. What do they call that?
They did endangered. They did endangered, but the thing with the endangered and the Amber Alert, the difference is I think the endangered doesn't come over on your phone, and
Okay.
notify you, but it
Have
is on like the highway signs and things.
Have any of you ever watched that movie Amber Alert?
Yeah, a long time ago.
Yeah, I think it's like a year or two old now. It was an interesting one where they suspect that the Amber Alert comes up and they see that the car is in front of them, so they take it on themselves, an Uber driver and a passenger, to kind of follow, the vehicle, and they end up
Oh no,
saving
I've never
the girl.
seen that.
Oh yeah, it's a pretty decent
I
movie.
thought you meant like the movie on like Amber, the girl that it's based on.
No,
There's like an old movie about her abduction.
there's a 2024 film called Amber Alert. It has Hayden Panettiere, Tyler James Williams, uh, blah 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 in it, but it's actually pretty decent. It's like a thriller. It's not a horror movie, but it's like a thriller. Decker was safe to have visits and noted Amber Alert. You're right, Kelly Mack. She's right, Jay. It's the same people. It's the same state
What?
that determined that he was still safe to have visits with them.
Oh, that said no to the Amber Alert. Yeah.
Right. And they didn't really, and I understand there's this idea that, oh, well, you have to wait X amount of hours and all. I get that. But when you look at his record, when you look at his overall profile, how do you not see the red freaking flags? Hello, literally waving. Instead, now you got red handprints to file, find. I mean,
Right.
come on.
But then, like, is there a double-edged sword? Like, if they make alerts for every missing kid, people are going to start to ignore those alerts. So it's
All
kind of
right.
like a double edge, right? Like, how do you handle that? If you put out an alert to everybody for every time, people are going to stop paying attention. It's not going to
Well,
get the attention that it needs.
it's funny you say that because that movie, Amber Alert from 2024, that is part of the storyline, pretty much. 1010 recommend for anybody who needs, a weekend movie to watch that one. But yeah, I mean, I get the sentiments. I
Did
get
they
the
change
sentiment,
anything
but
in the movie? Like, did they revamp? How did they solve it? I'm just curious.
well, I don't want to give it away.
Oh, well, I'm just curious because I mean, movies sometimes come real.
Well, I know usually a lot of times they're based off reality, right?
Was there like legislation passed to change it?
No, because this is more like a thriller movie than like a Lifetime type of movie. So it's just
Oh,
kind
okay.
of like, yeah, it's like fantasy. A lot of it's not very realistic. But it does have realistic parts in it. Like when the mother realizes her daughter's gone and she wants an Amber Alert, the one officer's like, oh, we don't have enough people or enough time, type of thing. You know what I mean? So I would just definitely recommend it. Great
I
movie.
mean,
It should be for free now.
did they take the woman's word that like, oh, he's always brought them back. He loves them. He's never, threatened to harm them. He's never harmed them. And they said, oh, well, let's give him the weekend.
In
I
this
mean,
movie?
no, in
Oh,
this case,
I was gonna
like,
say that didn't happen.
I mean, what did they Friday night? They refused to do it.
Well,
So
and
what
that's
did
what
they
breaks my
say? Like,
heart.
we'll give
That's what
them
breaks
till
my
Monday when we have more manpower. Like, what the fuck?
well, and think about that, right? If you so that kind of went against her because her saying like he's never done this before, whatever. They're like, well, if he's never done it before, then let's give him a few hours to see what happens. You know what I mean? Like it could have went against her by saying
Right.
that.
Right.
Not for nothing. Go and Google Amber Alert and what is it? Question mark. It will go into detail to change. You have to start a bill and signatures and go to your legislative. I mean, yeah, why would that be not for nothing? I get it. I get the sentiments behind an Amber Alert. I just don't get the sentiments behind allowing this to go the weekend.
Right. Because he didn't
Snark
have
attack,
the
thank you.
weekend. He didn't
Right.
have the weekend visit. So why would I don't know, man. It reminds me of Summer Wells. And remember on the weekends, they wouldn't do anything.
Yep.
There was something with that sheriff in the weekends. Like, I can't remember if it was tips they weren't calling back or I can't remember what it was, but there was something on the weekends they weren't
Well,
there.
This is why, and Penny has it right here, because it's a civil matter. And that is the truth. So many times the police will say this is a civil matter. You have to go to your courthouse and blah, 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 blah. They don't get involved in these family affairs, and they need to, especially when the profile's right before you. And in this case, this man had every damn flag that this was going to be an ending to it.
For sure.
I mean, again, I hate to be so graphic, but imagine what those 3 little girls went through in their final moments.
I can't.
Look at him. He looks deranged. These pictures, these 2 pictures on the screen look nothing like the man he looked like when he was still in that marriage. Nothing. He's unrecognizable. And
I wonder when that
honestly,
picture on the right was taken.
Me too, but if you look at it, Jay, I mean, honestly, he looks like several different men.
Yeah, he does.
Doesn't he? I mean, he looks like a white man here. He looks like an Asian man here. Now it's summertime. He's out in the sun, so his skin's going to get darker. He can shave his head, shave his mustache, shave his beard.
He can totally change his looks. Yeah,
absolutely. I've seen so many photos right now that if you had them all up together in a collage and told me they were all him, I would say no, they're not. They're different men. He does not look the same from photo to photo. Right, blank slate. I agree. And if you agree, hit that thumbs up. Totally different man.
But the newest pictures they put out that we showed should be the ones I guess we're looking at, because he doesn't look like this picture on the right at all. Like,
and that's the photo that's going around.
He looks kind of like not thin, but built,
I agree. And in some of these photos, he, right. Like what? So I guess the best to go off of would be that, the ring footage, which even then is a little difficult to see him. So can we even get a proper way of what he looks like right now, or what's he have our eyes out for? If this guy was walking down the street, I wouldn't know which, there's too many different looks to him.
Yeah, let me pull up the new ones again that they want us to focus on here.
I can't even tell which ones they want us to focus on. The 2 that you're seeing is what I keep seeing the most. The 2 that you're showing, I'm sorry.
Yeah, they just released these. Let me reshare.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Newly released photos. I got them right here, too. I'm sorry. Let me pull my weight a little bit. From each of these photos, though, doesn't he look like a different man, kind of?
He does. He does.
Totally have they given us close-ups of his tattoos?
Nope.
Right. In this photo, he looks like he's tattooed here and here. But in this one, he looks like it's just here and here. Does he have full sleeves? Does he not?
Right. No, and you would think they would show us close-ups of his arms or something.
Right. Give us an actual details of his tattoos.
Because in the Ring doorbell footage, you can't really see the tattoos well.
And that's the only thing he won't be able to, quite frankly, change is the tattoos.
Yeah, it's wild.
He has a weird mustache, and then his beard, and what is this, a goatee? Like, he has all 3. I've never seen that before. They don't quite connect.
I mean, he could have a full beard.
Right. He could have, in that one photo, it looked like he did have a full beard.
Okay, wait. Here's the tat.
Yellow picture. Thank you, Saturday Search.
I got a picture of the tat. Oh, my God. If he shaves his head. Holy fuck, Granny. This doesn't even look like him.
I'm telling you, girl.
Look at this.
I'm telling you.
I think you might have pulled this one up already, but.
Here, pull him up. Creepy son of a bitch.
That doesn't even look like the same motherfucker.
That's what I'm telling you. This man can change his, I love that shirt, but this man can change his looks. He does not look the same. This is when he was married and he was doing well.
I mean, those 2 stripes on the forearm are pretty distinct, the placement and everything. He's got
the American.
He doesn't have full sleeves, though. It did look like he had sleeves in that one picture.
Unless he's added some since then. But yeah, it looks like a whole completely different guy. I'd wild. Put a 1 in the chat if you think he'll be found deceased. I'm curious how many of you believe that he will take his own life. I do. These cowards usually do, don't they? I mean, if he's on the run, it's just like Brian Laundrie in that aspect.
So the cops were asked last night in the press conference if
Of the
they
ones.
thought they had a motive. And the response was,
Mm.
what kind of motive, what
Can
can
one have?
justify,
Right.
doing what he did. However, in his mind, he had to
Mhm.
have a motive. Like he had to have a reason, even if it doesn't make sense. I still want to know, like, what was going through his mind if we can ever find that out.
You know what I'm thinking? I'm thinking he was pulling one of those, if I can't have them, neither can you. Because it was threatened that if he didn't do what he was supposed to do going forward, the mother was going to have no choice but to keep the children. And I believe in his mind, he pulled one of those. I have nothing left to live for. I'm homeless. You're trying to take away my children. What else is there? But I don't. There, right? There is no ultimate. You can never.
Explanation, right?
Right. You can
To
never
where it
guess what
makes
goes
sense.
through their minds because us normal people, we could never fathom the thought.
Right.
And apparently she said that he shows signs of narcissism too,
Yeah.
which quite frankly, I think we all have bits of narcissism if I'm being honest, but between the bipolar, the narcissism, the quick decline in his well-being, the fact alone that he was in a car accident on what, May 4th and May 26th? And then by June, 2nd, he's getting visitation? The recklessness within the car accidents on their own should have been enough to say, listen, 2 car accidents, that there's something going on here. But she said it. The mother said it.
Yeah, I couldn't find. Can you find that on the car accidents?
Let me see if I can get a thing pulled up.
I'm gonna put a side by side of this. I'm making a side by side right now of him
Oh, cool.
because it really is. I mean, it's night and day with this guy. They must have been such a beautiful family together. Jeez.
Oh my God. You can tell they, oh, it just breaks my heart.
Because every time she saw him, she was probably like, I don't even know this person anymore. I'm sure it broke her heart.
To see him declining the way he
Yeah,
was.
to have to freaking divorce him and put him
And
out.
she wanted him to do better. That was part of their divorce agreement, was for him to, take the medication, to go to therapy. That was part of it. And that means that she cared enough to seek that instead of saying like, nah, just stay the hell away. You're unhinged. You're out of control. Go away. Instead, she said, let's get him the help he needs. His children need him. They love him. I can't help but the youngest one, the 5-year-old, reminds me so much of CC Watts.
Oh, yeah.
So much in that one photo, the photo that's my thumbnail. Olivia. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, this is wild. He looks so different.
She did not appear to have resentments. Right, Robot? Is that what it is? The little pigtails? I can't seem to find anything on the car accidents.
Oh, you know what? Go to Plunder. I think she may have it.
Of course
We
she
could
would.
maybe we could scroll through and read it or something.
Yeah,
That's
let me
right. I
see.
think that's where I saw it.
Oh yeah, here it is. I just can't do all of her
Oh, I know.
voiceover shit.
It's too much, but if maybe the document's there and we can pause it and read
It
it.
is, yeah. She likes to sell court documents behind a paywall, if you guys didn't know. Free ones too at that. But I
Well,
digress.
I guess if you want her to do the work for you.
It was my own court hearing that was free.
Oh, yours?
Yeah, she was selling mine.
No, she was not.
Swear to God, she did.
Really?
Yes, she did.
Jesus, I didn't know that, Granny.
Mm-hmm.
That's fucked up.
$3 a pop on her Patreon. Get it while it's hot. Free off the website.
I didn't know.
I couldn't believe it myself.
Like, I knew she did that shit with Stearns because I've gotten some stuff from her Patreon before for other cases. Wow, I didn't know that.
She didn't even speak about it publicly.
Did she even like contact you
No.
about it?
No.
She just threw it in there?
Yep. She just threw it on in there. No contacting me. She didn't even talk about it publicly.
Wow.
Like, it's not even like it's a case that she brought to the public's attention or anything. She just had it in her Patreon. $3 a pop.
I take that back.
Jay's like, well, if you want her to do the work, yeah, can you do the work of my attorney? You're selling my shit.
I didn't know that. I was thinking, like, these cases we follow, but not yours.
Oh, bless her. Sweetheart. Oh, shit. There goes my phone. Anyway, in case you guys didn't realize, this comes from Plunder True Crime.
I'll say it every 2 seconds while we go.
Yeah, that's exactly what her video does. Plunder
Crime. True Crime Audio.
Praise God and God be praised. That said, Travis Caleb Decker in the state of Washington, on or about or between May 30th, 2025 through June 2nd, 2025, did then and there unlawfully and with premeditated intent to cause the death of another person. Oh, wait, these are the new. This is about his car accident?
No, that's about his counts right now for what he's wanted for now. But she has other videos on him. Maybe it's a different one. I can look for it in a second. Let me save this. I got the side by sides. Y'all are gonna shit because it looks like 5 different men, dude. Because she goes on Broadcastify, she gets the archives of the dispatch audio.
Yeah, and I mean, good for her. It is, it's her. It's a job, right? We all make money doing these things. Court documents, Collidus. This was the one. It wasn't.
I'll
just
find
wasn't
it in a
that
second,
one.
But
it was the right video.
Here's that.
It was the right video. Here it is.
See, and what else pisses me off is that she puts these pictures up here so you can't read it all.
So we got to listen to her read it. She doesn't want anybody else to take it, is what it really comes down to.
I don't like that because I just want to go there and read it.
You got to pay her Patreon while you're there. Can you pick up my court docs?
See, Grizzly doesn't do that shit.
That's why Grizzly's the best.
What kind? She, however, noted that he had recently been cited for driving without insurance.
Oh, Corporal Gonzalez.
I just saw that. You see that? We're going to get it. We're going to get it. Watch this, Wonder. We're slick, too.
However, noted that he...
Boom! Got it.
Granny.
Sorry. Whitney knows Decker drives him. But we did get it.
This isn't his. Oh yeah, go ahead. This is it.
Whitney knows Decker drives a white truck, but was unsure what kind. She, however, noted that he had recently been cited for driving without insurance. Corporal Gonzalez conducted a record search and identified Decker's truck as a white 2017 GMC. He had been in a collision on May 27th and was in fact cited for some infractions following an investigation by WPD, Washington Patrol. It also appears he was in another collision on May 4th, but left the scene. Call notes say there was no damage to the other vehicle when patrol arrived, and the other driver declined a need for follow-up. Dang. So that's not
block safety. Keep reading. That's the reader thing I was telling you about.
Oh yeah. Where do you see that?
Wait.
By automatic license plate readers?
Yeah, right there. Hold on. Buckadoodle-doo. Wow. Word that you gals don't do your own research. Should talk about other creators' content. Make your own content. We are. Bye.
We've literally have made our own content this whole time. When somebody's selling my publicly available court documents and then they're blasting their name and their signature all over them, I take issue with it. And all of you should too. Why is anybody selling free public records behind a paywall, especially of a case she's never even spoken on? Blows my mind. And I think you would be insulted too if it was your information being sold.
No, I agree with you on that. Like I said, I didn't know it was your document.
And
I am. If she does the work and she throws them up there and people want to buy them, whatever.
Right.
You can search up your own
and I agreed until I saw that was my own documents, and it made me wonder how many other things is she selling that could be for free.
Yeah, I don't think that's cool.
No.
So whoever you are, I can't remember your name. Bye.
Yeah, we don't care anyway. And this is doing our own content. I mean, quite frankly, I can get this too. Should I put my name and photos all over it to make sure nobody else can use it? If she's doing it for public consumption, then why are you hiding it behind all these little tricks and trades? I mean,
And do you know
either
how
it's
many
for the public or it's
sources
not.
we've used today? We're not just sitting here playing someone's video and snoring. And then at the
Right.
end going, okay, guys, I hope you learned something today.
Right.
Give me a break.
And even if I was, I don't care. Bye.
All
I
right.
guess we can't
It's
count on them to
fine.
hit the thumbs up, can we?
Just hit the thumbs down. It's still engagement.
Yeah, bye.
Okay. So
Park
what was
ranger
this
was able
about
to
the
check
flock
the camera.
safety?
Yeah, it said that they're able to the flock safety and found the truck last registered by automatic license plate readers.
Northbound on the bridge. See, they got him on this bridge camera.
Mm-hmm.
And then they got him on Wenatchee Avenue, Horse Lake Road at 17:41 hours. So what time is that?
I have no idea.
5 something. He noted this was likely after Decker picked up his daughters and suspected he may be headed to a hotel or campground in the North End.
Yep. So then they reached out to another guy, a guy that was able to do it, to see if he's registered anywhere. And he wasn't registered at any campgrounds at all. But we know he was, or motels, but we do know he was near the campground. 541, the chat is saying. Thank you. Thank you very much. Hey, Mountain.
5:41 for what?
That was the time.
Oh, the time. I was
Oh,
like,
the
is that
time.
the thumbs? Is that the thumbs? Oop. I wasn't sure. Speaking of which, hit that thumbs up if you haven't already.
She was advised to call Rivercom immediately if and when she hears from Decker. So they basically said, oh, yeah, we can't find them. This is
Let us
everything that
know if you hear from them. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is literally everything we just read in a news article. This is a news article. I just read all of this. Waking her up by screaming at her in the middle of the night. Like, this is all part of
the news
report.
has all this.
This isn't even documents.
No, this is a document.
What is it?
It's the probable cause for his arrest.
Oh.
So they're outlining what happened, what the mother said. It said here, like if you go back a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, right here. Whitney, which is the mom, stated when overnight camping trips have been allowed,
that's what
they
caught my
were
eye.
planned in advance with clear details of the plan. The children also leave with a bag of clothing and appropriate attire to spend the night outdoors. When they left the home, they had the clothes on their back. So that, again, should not have gone overnight.
And look right here. So she mentioned that he's had financial burden for him, along with garnished wages due to back child support. She then added that he has been talking about getting rid of his dog due to housing and further financial concerns. When he stated his children and his dog are the two big positives in his life.
There you go.
Mm.
But what is that house? Like, what is she showing up there?
I guess the inside of their house, right?
It's just so interesting. Weird.
As of June 2nd at 9 o'clock, there has been no contact with Decker, and his cell phone continues to go straight to voicemail. That's where, like, okay, with everything she just told us, and then knowing this, we got to get on this.
So June 2nd was when? Monday?
Yeah, because June 1st was my son's birthday, which was Sunday.
So they went the whole weekend. Now go to the next page.
Yeah, I'm trying. I got to get through her. The children on Friday, May 30th at 220 hours. He failed to return the children on Saturday, May 31st. But that's...
Keep going.
He wasn't even supposed to May. Oh, wait a minute. Wait, I thought we were told that he was only supposed to have them Friday for dinner from 5 and return them by 9.
Yeah,
but
go
this
back.
is saying...
That says something different.
Yeah, this is saying that...
Do you have like arrows on your keyboard that go back and forth? You can skip 5 seconds if you hit that.
Yeah, but see how it's cut? So like down here, and then if I go to the next one, she has the photo cut in it. So I'm trying to get both. So it says the children on Friday, May 30th at 20 hours. He failed to return the children on Saturday, May 31st at 19 hours. He failed to return the children. Sin is blocked at
no, you're
like
gonna
17
have to
hours.
Pause it again.
Decker then failed to show up to work this blank. Do some. All right, hold on. There you go. Children on Saturday, May 31st at 19 hours. He failed to return to children Sunday, June 1st at 17 hours. Decker then failed to show up to work this morning, and his boss noticed some recent mental health concerns.
So he had a job. No, the dog is at the pound. The Humane Society has the dog, guys. I guess it must have been on site.
I agree. Phoenix Files, I agree. And then it goes on to say, given that Decker has failed to return the children when directed and with no open communication with Whitney, it is believed that there is an intent to withhold the children permanently from Whitney. So that's all they suspected was a kidnap. They didn't even suspect. But if you suspected that, why didn't you act sooner with an Amber Alert?
You got to remember, though, this is June 2nd that they're writing this.
Yeah. All right.
After the weekend, right?
I'm still trying to understand, though. He was supposed to have them for the entire weekend, but yet every news article is saying he was supposed to return them by 9 o'clock Friday, hence why she called. So which one is it?
Right. Was he supposed to have them until Saturday, May 31st? I'm confused.
Or was he supposed to only have them for the few hours that Friday?
No, because it says he failed to return the children Saturday at 1900 hours. He failed to return the children Sunday at 1700 hours.
It's just Jay. It's just noting that he never gave them back that entire weekend.
It's not walking through the weekend.
Right. Mm-hmm. Okay. I get it. Okay, so then it goes, and given that he has superposed 3 different scheduled times for return of the children, it is believed that he is well past a protracted period of time, and given that the children left home with no supplies for the extended time, it is believed there is substantial risk of illness or physical injury. Therefore, there is probable cause to arrest Travis.
Yeah, because superposed means like late, like they're overlaid, like, okay, he didn't bring them this day. He didn't bring them that day. Yeah.
So now we have several days of concern. And this is where we're at. So on June 2nd, and a warrant for his arrest did go out.
Yep.
Yeah, I get it now. I'm sorry, straight talker. It took me too long to understand that. I apologize. Well, and this is, he did have a 3-day start. He did. At the very minimum, he at least had a day start.
Hell, he could have hitchhiked into, or not hitchhiked, but like hiked into Canada.
Right. And what was around that campground? Is it all, tons of woods? Or what is it? Yeah,
it's all woods and mountains and shit.
So I'm sure he can be anywhere there.
Is there more to these docks, or is that it?
Oh, let me see. With 3, so there's probable cause to arrest Travis after they put out with first degree custodial interference in the first degree. On June 2nd, a warrant was in an active attempt to locate Decker and the children. Law enforcement utilized a variety of resources and known tools to include cell phone records, time in advance, automatic license plate readers, canvassing off the area for security, search of possible locations in the region, and social media. On Monday, June 2nd, a larger and more intensive search was conducted across Chelan County.
With the help
of the police and eventually family, friends, and volunteers, as people began to learn about the children's disappearance. What's she teaching us here?
Superposed.
Oh. Okay. At or around 15:56 hours on June 2nd, Deputy McLeod located Decker's vehicle unoccupied in the area of Rock Island Campground. Off Icicle Road with the nearest city town of Leavenworth. The campground is located in unincorporated Chelan County, the state of Washington. Law enforcement personnel from Chelan County Sheriff's Office and Wenatchee Police Department, along with helicopter support from Homeland Security Investigations, converged into the area. Approximately 75 to 100 yards past where the vehicle is located, down a small embankment, CCSO deputies located the bodies of the 3 school-aged children. Due to current safety concerns and scene preservation, the bodies have yet What did I just do? The bodies have yet to be approached, but there are some clear signs of lividity. Each has a plastic bag. My thing's going nuts. Hold on. My keyboard got stuck or something.
Oh, it's pronounced Shulin, I guess.
Shulin?
Shulin.
Thank you.
Shulin.
Plastic bag over the head, but there are some clear signs of lividity. Each has a plastic bag over the head. Based on the totality of the circumstances, including proximity to the vehicle and visible attire of the bodies, which is consistent with the clothing the children were wearing when they were transferred to Decker for visitation, they are presumed. My thing just jumped. Gosh dang it.
We can't see it anymore either.
Yeah, because my keyboard's
okay.
getting stuck
didn't
and
know if
going
you knew.
crazy. Sorry, guys. I lost wherever I was anyway.
If you want to pull up those pics, I got them down there.
Yeah. Here's where it says that they, let me pull up your pictures while I do this. It says that he drove through the area. Signs of recent activity. There, she has it blocked again, but there's a tent cooler within a short walk from where the bodies were located. His cell phone choir Saturday under extensions show that Decker likely traveled to the area Thursday, May 29th evening and returned Friday morning.
So he went out there the night before.
Yep. It says under the totality of the situation, it appears that Decker drove through the area the night prior and returned the next day with the children. Wow.
So he planned it, I bet.
Disgusting. Disgusting. I will get one. I'm sorry, Feisty Nana. It does happen a lot. But it's a gaming keyboard, so they're like fancy smancies, and they're not your average like $5 keyboard. But I think it's from being like left in the sunlight. Well, I don't know. Whatever. Moving on. But look how different he looks in each of these photos. What would you guys think that these are all the same three men? I only see them looking alike in these two, to be honest. The green shirt one and the shaved head top corner.
Kinda. He definitely looks different and
scary.
But they're saying that the ones in the middle are the newest images.
The ones in the middle, so like right there with the LAC shirt?
Yep. The green shirt and then the one right above it are the new ones. But I mean, look at the one from the top left to the one on the right.
Right.
Total decline. I mean, or the one right below him. I mean, the two on the far left don't even look like the same.
Right. Good morning, Joe Madre. Right. And of course, we can find similarities. They are the same person. It just goes to show how this man can likely blend himself in and not appear as he is. Why he was quieter than usual when he picked them up. He knew what he was going to do. That's so hard, Amber. I can't imagine the mother.
I guess they'll have another update tonight. 6 o'clock their time, 9 o'clock our time is when they're doing. Oh, thanks, Megan.
Don Jew, that is such a compliment. Thank you so much. So two bloody handprints, right? So what caused the blood, Jay? Did he try to self-harm?
I don't know.
And if he did attempt to take his own life, did he kind of like just crawl somewhere and come to his demise? Like, I don't understand the blood. I don't
either.
Really want to understand the blood either.
Right, because we don't know whose blood it was yet.
Right. You got a new member. Welcome, September Pours to the Cooters.
Thank you, September.
Mm-hmm.
There's Clue.
Yeah, but the thing is, he's been it hasn't been that much time. Like, he was still serving up until 2024. Hey, Sapphire.
Yeah, like this isn't a 20-year difference, you know?
Right. Well, that's what I'm saying, independent thinker. Prayers for that poor mama, because she could have been a hard ass and fought against him even having visitation with him being homeless. I hope she isn't blaming herself. And that is the truth. Like, she wanted him to be a father. She wanted him to maintain a relationship with their children. She wasn't like a spiteful ex. She tried everything to get him help. She loved him. And this is where she's at now.
I got a new picture. Not a new picture, but a new picture to us.
Yeah.
Oh my God. All right, hold on. Pull this up. Thank you, Megan.
Yeah, I guess we don't know. What the hell, Jay?
That's him.
It don't even look like him there either. He's back to looking like a white man.
Yep, that's him.
Doesn't even look like him.
So I bet that was him in that circle.
Jesus
Of
Lordy.
the
Oh,
in the
yeah,
army.
in the army. Yep. See, like in some photos, he looks like a white man. In other photos, you can see like he has Asian descent in him.
Yeah, he's got like the olive skin tone.
Yeah.
Like in this, like the far right. Doesn't even look like the same dude.
Well, it is him, Sleuth, so I hope it looks like him. I love how in the chat we're like, well, they got the same eyes and it's just the same person.
Yeah, I'm noticing the difference in the skin color too. That's what's throwing me off, I think. But if we go back to that other picture,
Native American.
you can
see? Yeah.
see his tats pretty good.
Thank you, Suki. I know, Cheesy. I know. And he's since added tats because now he has on the other arm right there.
Uh-huh.
I imagine you're married to this. These are obviously the first two children, Paityn and
Look at that baby on the right. Look at her.
Right. And look at the love, right? At 4th of July, they're having the military truck in the background, got the American flag. I don't know if it's 4th of July now, seeing the military truck, but proud to serve our country, proud to be a father. Look at the love. They're holding each other's hands. This you never fathom. Nobody ever fathoms that a parent would do this.
Mm-mm.
I thought
Mental
it was a
health
shark
is
thing.
real. I mean, you don't go from this to that.
Right.
I mean, there's got to be more to this. I'm thinking drugs. I'm thinking self-medication. I don't know why. I just by the looks of him.
Yeah.
I mean, it happens whether it's alcohol or whatever the drug is. I look at his face here and then look at that driver's license. He's all disheveled and.
But you know what? I'll be honest. I think stress alone can do that to you. You stop caring about your looks. You stop caring about self-care.
Yeah, you stop taking care of yourself.
Right. And then you just decline. I can see it just being a matter of stress between that, his bipolar. He still worked he was still working with the military. And then what was the other job that they said he called out of? Or they show up for?
That I don't know. Because the military was getting ready to disciplinary discharge him. So I don't know where he was working that he didn't show up Monday.
And that's what his boss said. He didn't show up Monday. Oh,
I get that he was homeless and homeless people are disheveled, but they do groom. I mean, they go to work. If he has a job, he's grooming himself to go to work.
Yeah, I know people I watched this whole thing about this little outside of a church. They allow people to park their cars, homeless people, to come and stay out in the parking lot overnight. They have to be in by 9 p.m. and out by 6 a.m. And they have like their wash area there and their coffee and everything. See, there is still a stigma on homelessness, which is what I mentioned earlier, that all homeless people are, unkempt or they're alcoholics or they're drug addicts. But to be honest, you could be working next to a homeless person and not even know it.
You would be surprised at the amount of homeless people that are functional in society, working jobs, and they just can't afford housing.
Yeah. And
they're not making enough money to afford housing.
I mean, I know where I'm at. Minimum wage is still only $7.50.
Fuck.
You know what I mean?
So that shit.
Right. Yeah, Melissa, I said it reminds me a lot of that too. It just, all the cases come to mind here.
Megan lives in that area, my mod. She said he was living in an RV until recently. It was repossessed, and he was now living in hotels in his truck.
Wow.
So we had this downward spiral, right? He lost his RV.
Mm-hmm.
He lost his wife. He lost his home. I mean, to him, he probably lost everything but his kids and his dog, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And then he was willing to get rid of his dog because of it.
And his kids.
And his kids.
So another thing I wanted to note that someone in your chat just brought up, I can't remember who it was. It's gone now, but in that thing you read, it said that when they found the girls, there was slight lividity. And I just looked that up, and it refers to the initial stages of livor mortis, the discoloration of skin after death due to blood pooling.
Mm-hmm.
And it says that lividity is first apparent about 20 to 30 minutes after death as dull red patches or blotches, which deepen in intensity over the succeeding hours to form extensive areas of reddish purple discoloration. Slight lividity may appear shortly after death. So could they have been alive that weekend? Girl. Could they have been alive with him Friday, Saturday, and part of Sunday? Because it said slight lividity.
I guess there's a possibility.
And they found them when? Monday?
Yeah.
Lividity is first apparent about 20 to 30 minutes after death as dull red patches or blotches. And they deepen in intensity over the succeeding hours to form extensive areas of reddish purple discoloration. But they said slight.
Let me see.
So if they were just killed on that Sunday or Monday, he could have been pretty close.
It says there are some clear signs of it. Clear signs. It doesn't say slight signs, clear signs.
Oh, I thought it said slight.
Yeah, clear.
Thank you.
Clear signs,
Clear signs, which means they were probably sitting there.
Right, which is that they knew upon sight that these children were deceased.
Yep.
They were 9, 8, and 5. No, that's the written affidavit for arrest, Megan. That is true, Annie.
Mm-hmm.
They were found in the same clothes. Right, that's what we don't understand, because they had zip ties and bags over their heads, but there's nothing that says,
But
that would
again, they
imply
don't
blood.
have to put all that in the probable cause. There could be more injuries that we don't know about.
And,
that they may not have put out,
Mm-hmm. That's what I can't wrap my mind around. I mean, again, this daddy was a hero. He was a soldier. They were proud of daddy. And look at this photo right here. It shows you not only was he proud, but, that this was implemented into their lives. They knew that daddy was a soldier. That was part of their daily life.
Yeah.
And actually, it says that the military was looking to dishonorably charge him because he stopped showing up for his weekly, right, Jay? Was it weekly?
Monthly drills or something.
Monthly drills. He stopped showing up for his monthly drills.
Like a year ago.
Yeah, last year he stopped showing up for his monthly drills, so they were looking to dishonorably charge him. Is what's written in the
Now, the military
affidavit.
should look into that, in my opinion, right? You have a guy who served
a whole year.
He's in the National Guards now, right? He's been to Afghanistan and everything else. He all of a sudden stops showing up.
Right.
Don't you think there should be someone who looks into that? Because instead of just disciplining, I mean, I don't know what they went through disciplining him over a year. So maybe I'm speaking out of turn, but it's just red flags, right? And you got someone who has a mental illness, and I don't know, just they need to keep a better eye on people and help them.
And also part of their parenting plan was that she was to have access to the children and the ability to talk with them via cell phone whenever she needed.
But he never signed it to agree to it.
But he refused to sign it.
Well,
He
guess
literally
what?
refused.
You shouldn't get visitation until you sign the agreement. What
Right.
is
If
that
you're
all about?
refusing, then why are you even getting a visitation? You refused to sign it. I mean, that's unbelievable to me.
I wonder if she just let him take him because she didn't, she wanted the kids to still see him and
Have their father.
try it, never in a million years imagine that he would ever harm these girls, like the girls or his dogs. Like that was his prized possessions.
And not only that, but so over 12 hours went by. Um, and apparently the one daughter had a planned event at a local park that he didn't show up to. So she was
Right.
hoping, okay, he didn't bring them home, tonight, but she has this event at the park tomorrow. Hopefully he'll take her there.
Right.
And
Then they didn't
they'll be
come.
there, and they weren't there either. That just, this whole thing just breaks my heart. And the car accidents that he was getting into shows like recklessness with, driving or concern for himself and others on the road. I couldn't. Bless her heart for wanting so badly to keep her. The mother did everything the right way. She wasn't trying to snatch his children from him. She clearly was doing everything she could to make sure he was able to maintain a relationship.
Oh, wow. Let's share her GoFundMe here.
No,
She's getting
once,
tons of support, you guys.
yeah, it's amazing. Once he
839,000 raised.
Plus, once he no longer had proper housing, he was no longer allowed overnights. Yeah, Yoga Mama, it does suck. There needs to be so many revamps. It needs to be situational, not,
Oh, look, Annie Elise, 10 to Life LLC, $3,000. See
that
that?
was really nice of her. Yeah, that was really nice of her.
Yeah, they've got a lot of support.
All the money in the world couldn't fucking fix this.
No. Mm-mm.
All the money in the world couldn't fix this. It is a broken system that needs to be fixed. It's a heartache. It's not even a heartache. It's a death of your soul that I never, ever, obviously want to experience. I couldn't even fathom. What's it say, Jay? Do you want to read it? Or
Yeah, go ahead.
This fundraiser is to support Whitney Decker with expenses and legal costs following the tragic loss of her three daughters, Paityn, Evelyn, and Olivia. On May 30th, the girls were reported missing after a scheduled visitation with their father. We are heartbroken to share that the girls have since passed. Their light touched so many, and the pain of this loss is immeasurable. I've known Whitney for years. We're both dance moms and theater friends. She had them in all types of events, dance moms and theater. And we originally met through short Shakespearean experience, where I served as a music director and had the privilege of teaching Whitney's girls over the past few years. We spent this year as dance moms together, and my daughter Maisie and Whitney's daughter Evelyn both performed. I'm gonna cry. I can't read it.
Mm-hmm. All right, I'll pick up where you left off. Where were you? We originally met through short Shakespeareans, where I serve as the music director and had the privilege of teaching Whitney's girls over the past few years. We spent this year as dance moms together, and my daughter Maisie and Whitney's daughter Evelyn both performing on the Fabulous Feet Dance Rockstars team. Funds raised will go directly to Whitney to help cover final expenses, support time off from work, and give her the space to heal without financial pressure. In light of the overwhelming response, I want to clarify that this is the only official GoFundMe fundraiser approved by Whitney and created with her full knowledge and consent. All donations made here will go directly to Whitney to support her needs during this time. There is no set goal. Anything you are able to contribute is deeply appreciated. Please respect her privacy at this time. She is not open to media contact, and further updates will be shared here. Thank you for keeping Whitney and her girls in your hearts.
Look at these photos. Each of these girls had a whole place. They had a whole, the
yeah, look
dance
how
and
big they are
soccer.
here.
Yeah, why are they using these not updated photos? Look at that photo. It's a lot different than what we're seeing where they look a lot younger. Like
There's
this
that one.
photo, they
Yeah,
look a
that
lot
one.
younger here.
Mhm. They're so big here. Look at the older one, how tall she is. I mean, she's almost to her mama's shoulders.
She's only 9 years old. Look at her, all excited at Luigi's Mansion Part 2. Email with a video of an interview with the mom's attorney. Thank you, Lee.
Soccer.
Yeah, like look at all their little friends and the smiles on their faces. She had them in events. She
Look
dressed
how
them up.
cute their little room is.
Little princesses. They were loved. And the idea that your kid's father does this, I couldn't.
No, it's not even fathomable. But if you guys here, I'll share the link to her GoFundMe if you guys.
And then here's the family attorney speaking. Oh.
Greg, Joyce, that attorney was wrapping up a meeting with the mother, Paityn Decker, when we arrived here in Wenatchee this afternoon, along with U.S. Marshals and local law enforcement. Paityn was teary-eyed but composed and says she's not ready to talk, at least not yet. We are getting a fuller picture of Travis Decker, the man whose life appeared to be falling apart with mental illness, homelessness, and the inability to hold down a job. And access to his kids was cut to every other weekend after a...
God.
Does this seem like it's like victimizing him? Like just within seconds, like, oh, a man that was broken down by homelessness and his inability to keep a job. He had a job.
All those, see, I'm thinking those are red flags to me. Like,
right.
Those should have been red flags for the kids.
And then they're like, in his weekend, his visitations were cut down to weekends. Like he's a victim or something. I guess to an extent he could be, right? Knowing what he did is hard to. Let me stop. Sorry.
We are
It's
getting
hard
a
to take
fuller
in all the
picture of
dynamics.
Travis Decker,
Right.
the man whose life appeared to be falling apart with mental illness, homelessness, and the inability to hold down a job. And access to his kids was cut to every other weekend after a custody hearing 9 months ago.
The visitations will not be overnight at this time. Father may have visitations subject to the limitations of Section 14 on Fridays from 5 to 8 p.m., Saturdays from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m., and Sundays from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m.
So
These
that's why
visitations
they
will
put
occur.
those times, Granny. They
Uh-huh.
put 7 p.m. on Saturday and 5 p.m. on Sunday.
Hoping that, okay, well, maybe
He just, maybe he'll bring them
he'll
back.
follow this. Right.
Fuck. That's probably why they waited.
Yep. Oof.
He was an engaged father. He did have some limitations on his parenting time due to his mental illness.
The mother's attorney in the custody case says Travis became homeless a year and a half ago after leaving the Army as a Ranger.
He left voluntarily, so I believe his discharge was honorable.
Now, how come the affidavit for arrest says otherwise? It says that they were looking to discharge him because he didn't show
That was
up.
the National Guard. So they're talking about his discharge from the Army.
Okay, right. Thank you.
I think as far as the reserves, he just stopped showing up.
The
See, if I would have played it a second further, Jay. Thank you.
There you go.
attorney says Travis worked a couple of minimum wage jobs and at one point was talking to the Carpenters Union about possible work, but his skills just didn't transfer.
There were no red flags.
Look at that area.
There were
Look at
red
the
flags.
area. He could be fucking anywhere in this area.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Oh, yeah, there was no red flags. There were red flags, just not red flags that anybody would suspect would end in this.
He was struggling with isolation and
Records show Decker was diagnosed with a serious mental illness.
Hold
The
on.
attorney says that
Yeah, no red flags, Jay.
No.
Just isolation, serious mental illness.
Right, borderline personality, isolation. Those are red flags.
Can't keep employment, no housing.
A year and a half not showing up to the National Guard. All of these things were red flags.
Right. I mean, and even knowing what he's done since, how can you say no red flags? There
And
was
it's
tons
good to pick out the red flags, right? Because someone might
for the next
notice
family.
this in their spouse or loved one or family member.
Right. Oh.
was most likely
We both said, oh.
There's just no words.
Oh, I hate to laugh, but it's like,
just
what the
so
hell, man?
frustrating.
Decker was diagnosed with a serious mental illness. The attorney says that was most likely related to his combat and that Decker tried and tried to get help, but there was too much red tape to get veteran services.
That is a
What?
damn. I mean,
There was too much red tape to get veteran services.
Meaning-
Excuse me, he was a ranger. Play that part again.
So I'm saying this is like very sympathetic towards him.
Says that was most likely related to his combat and that Decker tried and tried to get help, but there was too much red tape to get veteran services.
Okay, I need to know more about that. I need to know more about this red tape. Was it drug testing? What was it?
Yeah, I don't know anything about their
that's a
services.
fucking problem. That's a fucking problem.
I've heard a lot of veterans say dealing with the VA is very difficult. And here, look, people are writing it here too. Yeah. Tattoo said it can be difficult for veterans to get what they need. So many are homeless here in Vegas. Yeah. Homeless all over. Same.
It should not be hard getting treatment through the VA. That's fucked up. There's combat vet. Says yes, it is.
But here's what I understand. Like, okay, so the judge does order him to get help. They order him to twice a week therapy sessions. And I get that it's difficult to get it through the VA, but there's other avenues that could have been sought. Like, ultimately, he didn't do what he needed to do.
But you get free TRICARE through the VA, and you can't get fucking help? I need to know more about that. That's messed up. I mean, I'm seeing everybody in chat saying they have experienced the same thing. Wow. I mean, we've got recruiters set up at high schools to get these guys in the military, and then they just drop them.
Yeah.
Is the VA different in different states? Because I thought VA was federal. Why would it be better in Florida than other places?
Right. I guess the amount of veterans living in the area, the amount of veterans needing their services.
The demand, yeah.
The demand, yeah.
Yeah, I've heard of veterans not getting the proper care.
Oh,
but
yeah, all the time.
I've never heard of someone with who diagnosed him if he wasn't getting care? That's
right.
So I need
and with
to know
the judge's
more.
order.
Yeah, I need to know more because who diagnosed him with the borderline personality?
Yeah.
Thank you, Flo. She said you have to give a bank account and an address. Most don't. For what? VA?
If most of the VA is homeless people, then how?
He was diagnosed prior to the divorce? By who, though? Someone had to have diagnosed him.
Right.
So if they diagnosed him, then they refused to help him. I just don't know if I believe that. Why would they diagnose someone and then not give them the meds they need or whatever? Because she said he wasn't taking his meds. Who prescribed the damn meds?
Tara, I don't turn this into politics, so I will not do that.
Maybe he was on his wife's insurance. That could be before the divorce. I don't know.
She said he wasn't taking his meds, so clearly he had a doctor that was prescribing them, but he wasn't taking them.
I wonder if he was even going to the doctor anymore.
Right.
Because we don't know enough. We don't know if he took the meds and then stopped suddenly. Who knows? If he ever even took them.
Right.
We don't even know.
We don't know.
Right. Okay, so let's do a poll. Right, how many of you think this guy is still alive?
Yeah, most were saying one, but here, let me put one up.
Yeah, let's do an actual poll. What are we going to do? Because I'm going to do it in mine too.
Do you think he is still alive? Why did he get in trouble for sunburn? And that's when he said we are all only a number and they own us until we are out. Yeah. Worse, gives no right to end people's lives. Right. I agree.
Sarah Luna says the news says records show, but HIPAA. I think that they're going off court documents from their divorce and their custody thing rather than medical records.
Right.
I think that's where they're getting it from. There wouldn't be a VA close to him. Oh, wow. I mean, it sounds like his wife tried to support him the most she could, you know?
Right. Until it became a part of you have to now support yourself. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's why he's a danger, Wishful.
because he was like waking up in the middle of the night screaming at her. God knows, you know.
Just breaking in the house and screaming for the girls. Then he asked if he could live in the basement.
Hitchhiked to her house. Oh,
Yeah. Well, yeah, because there's uniform and you're representing the uniform. Bond twice for murder and attempted murder. When the NC guy, what NC guy, got bond for murder and attempted murder? Never heard of anybody getting bond for murder or attempted murder.
who's that?
I mean, it may be, but it won't be here. I understand that, Tara. I mean, of course, a lot of it is political, but there's no answer for all of it with
Right.
one change.
Neither
of
side is going to fucking fix this problem. Clearly, we've had both.
It
So
has been going on for
obviously,
ages.
yeah, it's not a new problem, and no one fucking politician is going to fix it. Sorry.
See, and this is what I was thinking. If a VA is not close, they send you to a civilian doctor. I mean, that's what I was thinking too. Like I
Frankie,
don't.
thank you for your super chat. I know the sheriff said we have good mental health services here, but there really isn't outside of court ordered type places.
And he was court ordered though. So what type of court order type places are there that he was court ordered and still didn't do it?
What's your poll looking like? I'm almost 50-50.
Let me check. I am, let me get this up to date. 59% say no. Pretty close.
55% say no on mine. But if he's not alive, where the freak did he kill himself, you know?
Right.
But we haven't had any confirmed sightings either. But then again, this dude can live out for months.
I know without money you can't get treatment, but at the same time in America, without money you do get treatment, right? So if you are in a need and you think, well, I don't have money for this, let them bill you. Don't ever let your health go by because you don't have the money. Take the bills, take the debt. Don't ever negate your mental health, your physical health on the means of money. They have to treat you, so get the treatment. Just let it be built up.
Yeah,
Don't let yourself. Right. I know it's ungodly costly. I get it. I do.
Yeah, but a lot of mental health places, if you don't have insurance and they don't do like a sliding scale, you have to pay cash up front.
And keep
They
going
won't
to
see
the
you.
ER. I would keep going into the ER every day until they saw me.
But there are resources and there are places that if you have no money, especially, you know, that they will give you free meds.
Mm-hmm.
And you can go in and be seen for free.
Yeah.
It just takes that extra effort because you got to go through the red tape, if you will.
Right. You got to keep fighting it.
Yep. You got to fill out all the papers, prove your income. You've got to show them all your documentation. It's a process, and you know, I mean, when people are in a crisis, they're not going to do that on their own. They got to have someone to help them. And
she was pushing through the course.
she was
to
doing
help
everything. She was doing everything that she could.
You have to search in your local area, Nicole B. We're all in different states. We can't give the answers. I pray your daughter finds the help, but there's ways to get help. If you have to admit her into an ER, you do it that way. But there are ways that, I mean, sometimes you got to cheat the system that's going to, cheat you.
Search up in your county. There's behavioral health. I I can't think of
I
what
mean,
they're
there's so
called.
many hoops. There really is, and I get it. I went through the mental health system with my own child. It was beyond infuriating and difficult, right? But if you need the help, then you stay to 3 days. I mean, there are sacrifices that have to be made.
The ER kept her overnight and sent her home, but they should have sent her home with some resources for follow-up care.
Or they should have sent her to a mental health facility, which is, and if it's for mental health, I apologize. I'm assuming based on the topic that you asked for her to go inpatient.
Sometimes they don't have room. There's things like that. I mean, every area is different, right? Like where I live, there's so many resources because we have so many homeless and mentally ill in Florida, especially in my county.
I have to take this phone call, Jay.
Okay. So we have a lot of resources here, but when you're in a rural area, it is more difficult. And I understand that because the resources aren't there. It just depends where you live, I guess. Of course, it's not easy, but you can wait in the ER. Rural areas are lacking, right? Hey, thank you, Gary. Almost all of our homeless here are veterans. They refuse the help. Yeah, so what do? You can't force someone, can you? I mean, what are we going to do? Start court ordering every homeless person? And then what? Where are we going to facilitate them? We don't have the room. I just don't like, I don't like how we have recruiters set up at high schools to get our young men and women in the service. And then when they come out, it's, hurdle after hurdle. Mountain Wanderer, you're not blocked. I see you. They should have petitioned him. Well, they should have done something, Dr. Malmo, because he refused to sign the parent agreement through the court. I think they should keep our recruiters out of the high schools, in my opinion. Just saying. I graduated in 1991, and I had a recruiter leaving cards in my door at my parents' house. Do they really, Clue? They call Baby Clue 3 times a week. I say keep them out of the fucking high schools. I don't know. What do you think? Parents can opt out? I mean, we all know that it's there as an option. Jay, what career do you know that gives you mental health help after separation? We can't say it's a military issue. We sure can. We're training these guys to kill. And some of them go to war and they actually kill. Right? Like you said, in an office job for 30 years, you don't need that mental health treatment like these guys do. This is inflicted by the US government, in my opinion. This is inflicted trauma from what they signed up for. And they need to fucking take care of them. We don't need mental health for everybody who retires from work. Come on. ROTC in schools. I think that's fine. It's a program. But setting up a table like a trade show and then calling these, almost 18-year-olds, I don't know. Yeah, they train them to kill.
In other countries, you're forced to serve, though. Like, you know what I mean? If the most our country's doing is recruiting, it's better than them forcing them into the army. Because if that's what's going to happen, if there's such a negative, if there's such a negative to signing into our services, it's going to get to the point where they're going to force our men and children to join the services, which is exactly what was written in the 2025 plan. So we can either have a country where they recruit and they ask people to sign up, or we can be forced.
If the outcome was better, maybe people would be more enticed to sign up. right? If they weren't thrown to the wolves. I mean, no person that trains in our military becomes a ranger, which is really quite an accomplishment, actually, should be left homeless when they come back to the States. I completely disagree with that. I think that's a fucking problem.
It's absolutely a problem. There's no doubt about it. I mean, it's absolutely a problem.
I
But how
can't
does it get
stand those
fixed?
recruiters. They're annoying as fuck. But I get it. I mean, back in the 70s, it was like you either went to the military or you went to college. Like, it was different then. Now a lot of kids don't even go to college, you know? It's like it's a different world, but I don't know. I felt hounded by them personally. They left cards in my door. They were coming to my door, knocking on my door, wanting to talk to me about signing up for the army, and I wasn't interested. All I did was sign a thing at the school. They had like a little table set up, and I got a free t-shirt. Right? So I got the free t-shirt, and then they hounded me. I just don't like that. Let me know you're there. I'll contact you. But I mean, they have this job and they have like a quota and shit.
Yeah, it is aggressive. I never experienced that, but I see that they can definitely be aggressive. Well, that's the other thing, right, Cheesy? That's true too. I mean, how if they're I don't know.
I know it's a tough situation.
If there was an easy answer, there'd be an answer, right? You know what I mean? It's like it's one of those situations where it's unfortunately the way it is, but again, they can drift. I mean, one way or another, America's going to have we're going to have our services, and they're going to get the people they need for it, rather that be by signing up or forcing.
It's crazy though, Granny, because like I know I'm old, I'm 50, but you know, I went to school with guys that were in the Iraqi war, and there's 3 guys that I went to school with that were in the Army and the Marines, and they killed themselves. They're dead.
Yeah.
They're dead.
Yeah.
And it's just, that's 3 that I know. That's crazy. And I grew up in a small ass town. So I don't know, man.
But and I agree, it's horrific, but what do people think serving the country is? Like, you're going to see horrific things. You're going to be trained to be a soldier. You are going to see lives lost, and you are going to take lives. Like, you know what I mean? So it's kind of like.
So is it just that some people just can't handle it? Because a lot of people come back and they adjust. Was there a problem maybe before, and maybe it exacerbated being in the military? Because like a lot of people come back and they're, you know, they get back into life and they're fine.
Well, a lot of it is the age, right? Like they're recruiting teenagers in high school, and they're not mentally developed at that point. I'm sure many go in due to different reasons, rather that be, you know, to escape something or whatever it may be. Everybody has a different reason, but yeah, I'm sure it comes down to some can handle it, some can't.
Yeah, because there was like one of the guys that I knew. This is really crazy. So he went to the war, right? And when he came back, he was so different, and he had pictures that he had taken of the Iraqi soldiers that he killed, close-ups of their brains. And it was so disturbing, but he was so proud and giddy about it. It just wasn't right. Like he came back, he didn't have the same mindset. It was really quite disturbing.
Yeah, because you have to kind of lose your, you know, some people can switch it off, right? And some can't. My brother-in-law served, and he became a really bad alcoholic, and he'd wake up in night sweats and screams and terrors and all of that stuff. And yeah, I mean, it impacts people differently. It depends what area you serve. It depends if you saw actual combat or not.
They're killing, you know, they're bombing kids and
sometimes
women
even children, right?
Right.
Yeah, it's all dependent. And while I wish there was better help for our veterans, absolutely. And also, next time you see them out there selling or asking for donations, give. That's the only thing we can do, because unfortunately it's
So let me ask you something. Does the wounded warrior, is that a legit? I'm asking the vets in the chat if you guys know, is Wounded Warrior legit, that foundation?
That's a good question.
Because my dad used to donate to them. He was like, wasn't he, Dr. Melmo? He would donate. I just wonder if you guys know anything about it. Yes, it is. Okay, that's good to know.
I think everything governmental ran is overwhelmed and understaffed. Everything.
Hmm.
It's all, you know, it's all fractured.
Oh, good. Everyone's saying
Everybody's saying
yes.
yes. Yeah.
Brent Kopaka was a wounded warrior. Yeah, he was a Purple Heart. There's another one,
Mhm.
happens a lot.
As science projects.
Yeah, they do. Of course. That's why they did MK Ultra, right? Was to use brainwashing against our enemy. They were testing out how hallucinogenics would work on the enemy. We're nothing but guinea pigs sometimes. I mean, it's the way it is. How else are they gonna how do you think they learn their tactics, right?
Yeah. Yep, there's ugly parts. I mean, it is war after all.
Dr. Momo, we think that it probably was planned because he was at the campsite the night before. And they think that he could have put supplies out somewhere to kind of live off grid, if you will. Oh, that's so nice. They built him a new home. Wounded Warriors built him and his family a new home when he came back.
Look at this. What a compliment. The dark side of my ass. You girls are using your brains, open conversation with empathy. So glad I was proved wrong about y'all. Wow, Sluislation. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
That's
I
nice of
really
you to say.
appreciate that. I'm so tired of us being demonized over here, aren't you?
Yeah, I like
I'm really glad somebody saw that. Thank you.
the dark side my ass.
Right. The dark side. The dark side's over there snoozing as they're talking about topics like this. But yeah, the dark side. All right.
Yeah, I think every generation, right? We have the war, like Vietnam, certain generations have that to remember. For my generation, when I was coming out of high school, it was the Iraqi War,
Mm-hmm.
the Gulf War, whatever you want to call it. But thank you to all the vets that are in chat, by the way.
I don't think he was necessarily kicked out of the home, but I would think that in most situations they leave the home to the mother and the children a lot of times. But we don't know who was the primary, you know, income in that family either. So I don't know. That's a good question. We would have to know their whole finances and history. And did he willingly leave the home, or did he fight for the home? We'd have to see that on the divorce record. But let's also be very clear about something. Just because you serve doesn't make you a good person. Like, I know so many pieces of shit who hide behind the fact that they served our country. Serving our country doesn't automatically make you a good person.
Right.
And in this case, we're talking about somebody who served and then took the lives of his 3 kids. We can blame that on mental health. We can blame that on the VA. We can blame it on whatever. How many of you and your family members in the chat have taken somebody's life? It's not that this isn't the end for all. I mean, this guy is an absolute sick son of a bitch. And this idea that, oh, it's because he served, it's because the VA, it's because he didn't give a fuck to take care of himself. Ultimately.
He wasn't strong enough for whatever reason. And internally, it had nothing to do with anybody else but him. Internally, he couldn't fucking handle himself.
Yeah. He could have taken his own life and not the lives of his kids then, right?
He could have chose not to pick up his girls that day and just went and killed himself.
Right. Just kill yourself. Why kill them? Sick.
And one important thing too is like he could have went in that house. He could have killed all of them, including the ex-wife.
Right.
But
Instead,
he
he obviously planned out where he was
calculated.
taking them the next day. He was calculated. He had the zip ties. He had the plastic bags, and he took the lives of these 3 children. His children. It does work like that. It does work like that. I know many people that have many mental health issues that have never taken somebody else's life. You can donate clothes and house stuff to Wounded Warriors. They pick it up at your home. It all benefits veterans. I started doing that instead of giving to Goodwill, because Goodwill is a greedy corporation that I can't stand. Thank you, Angel the Chips,
That's
for the
good to
10
know.
months. Oh, yeah. Absolutely great to know. I'm sorry I should have kept that up higher. Thank you, 99 Balloons, for telling us that. 99 pink balloons. I apologize.
It's weird though that, we think that maybe he wanted his ex-wife to suffer or whatever, but they weren't, from what she said, they didn't have any arguments or anything. Like, I
Yeah,
wonder how they were with each other the past 9 months since that September hearing when his, visitation changed.
Was there a point in time when the military didn't let like gay people and transgender people in?
Yep. In the
So I don't
90s.
think they let just anybody in.
Yeah, I think you do have to be qualified because there's people that can't
make it through
qualify.
boot camp.
Can you pin brother?
Yes, where is it? Brother?
Brother said, "Who's your guest?"
Where are you,
Well,
brother?
we're dual streaming. So this is Granny's watching. She's live on her channel and I'm live here.
I meant to ask you, when we dual stream, does it give you the opportunity to pin?
Mm-mm.
Oh, no. Okay.
You're in
Okay.
control
That's
of
good to know.
that. Yeah. I
Okay.
can't do any of that.
Okay. That's good to know. Thank you. I wasn't sure, so I'm glad to know that so I can highlight both sides. I didn't know if you were able to control or, you know what I mean, if we could both click, but I guess not, because then if we do each comment
Yeah, we'd
at
be
the same
overriding
time,
each other.
right, that makes
I'd
sense.
be like, no, I'm pinning mine. No, whoever starts the stream has control, which I kind of like it. I can just kick back and like look at stuff and read stuff and
Yeah.
read chat. So thanks, Granny, for hosting today.
Thanks for coming on with me. I always enjoy doing streams together.
They're kicking out all the gays and transgenders now again. They went from, I think it was when Clinton was in office when he banned like gay people, right?
Yeah.
But they couldn't say they were gay.
Right.
Or was it Bush?
Crazy
Which
redneck.
one
Thank
was it?
you. I don't know. I wasn't even born yet.
Okay, someone in chat remind me, was it Bush or Clinton? Did Clinton allow gays and then Bush turned it around? I'm trying to remember.
You're not in my chat, Mountain, so I don't know what's going on.
It was Bush. Okay.
To be honest, Sasha, the chances of me being able to see your comment above with two chats going is likely not to happen. I hate to say that, but if you could retype it. Oh, here we go. I've been texting just now with my eldest, so 50, military. In Canada, they are only allowed to do one presentation per high school and certainly not allowed to call people at home. That's interesting.
Oh, yeah. Don't ask, don't tell. That was Clinton. Don't tell us and you can go in.
Wow.
Is that like foreign thought to you?
Yeah. It's insane.
That's so funny. Because I'm 50.
I remember hearing about it. You know what I mean? Like, I know about it. I just wasn't.
It's like talking to
it.
my kids about this stuff. Like, what? They're like, why? Gay people could go to the military. What?
I remember the slogan, don't ask, don't tell.
That's weird. You're good, Mountain Wanderer. Yeah,
that's what I'm saying, Loki. There is so many negatives based around the military that I'm afraid we're going to get to the point where they're going to force our children to the military. Matter of fact, I hate to say it again, but read the 2025 plan. It's in there. Your child at 18 will be sent to serve. If
when
it goes
was the
way
last
they
time
want.
there was a draft, though? Vietnam.
They're not talking about a draft. They're literally talking about at 18, healthy boys have to go serve. It's not even about drafting at that point. It's their day one. It's like it is in other. Where is that in
China?
China. Yeah.
Did you hear about the Chinese people that brought freaking fungus? Some kind of.
I did.
Detroit?
The two scientists on
Get out of here. See, this is Michigan. Good job, Michigan. Keep selling property to all the Chinese nationals. Oh my God, they were selling all their farmland near a military base in Michigan. I know it happened in other states, but Michigan approved it. And now we got Chinese nationals flying into DTW freaking with fungus that they wanted to put in our food. Get out of here with that. Done with it. And I'm still sus of that damn balloon.
Oh.
Dr. Melmo, I think the Chinese brought the fungus between their Oh my God. Sorry, off topic, little sidebar, but craziness. You guys didn't see that?
I did, yeah.
Did you know most garlic in a jar comes from China? Oh, shit. A lot of things come from China.
Garlic? I don't use garlic anyway.
You don't use fresh?
No. Yeah, and I recommend everybody start. If you don't garden, learn now, because be lucky if you can afford a tomato. We won't be throwing them on stage anymore, folks. We'll be throwing them into the bin
Agree.
to make our own food.
Agree. Hit your local farmers markets and
Yeah, definitely.
your little
And look in your
stands, the guys that are on the side of the road with the fresh produce or the corn or the watermelons. Stop
Yeah.
and buy from them. Because I'll
Yep.
tell you what, our grocery store produce, for the most part, depending on what store you go to, but for the most part, like Walmart,
Yeah.
their produce sucks. And let's face it, a lot of people go to Walmart because it's cheaper.
Right. And what's cheaper? You get cheaper produce. I mean,
Yeah.
it's gross. And it's easy. It's easy to grow your own stuff. I mean, it's not as simple as planting a seed or planting a plant and, little watering, and you'll be amazed what you can do with it. There's nothing makes me feel better than being able to go out back and pluck off what I need for dinner that night. Nothing. I love it.
Fresh
Makes me feel so proud of
tomatoes.
myself. And I grow an abundance of tomatoes and cucumbers to the point where I put a table outside and say free, and
I
it
love
usually
it.
goes.
I love it.
And then my area, once a month, there's a local farmers market that gives out free food and veggies and everything. And check your areas for that as well, because the price of groceries is insane, and it may only get worse from here. Plus, we don't even know what the hell it is. Hell, watermelons were exploding and bananas are bending, and what the hell is in this food anymore?
Right. And then you get these tomatoes at the store and they're like orange.
I
Like,
know,
they're
they're
not,
weird.
it's so gross.
And
they
like
say like
seedless stuff, like
from
we're not supposed to
Chile.
have seedless shit. Like, ew.
No. All that stuff is just so genetically modified, right?
Something's been stealing my strawberries. I have to order like that netting that goes over your veggies because they're already starting to get into mine. I wish I had a peach tree. I would love that. I do cucumbers, and then I make my own pickles. And my neighbor just told me she freezes her tomatoes. I didn't realize you could do that because I don't know how to do jarring and canning and all that. I wish I did.
Oh, I've done that before. It's messy, but
Yeah.
it's worth it if you want to put the time in. Here's that
Yeah.
story. 2 Chinese nationals accused of smuggling dangerous biological pathogen into Michigan. A potential agro-terrorism weapon.
Here, you got to remember, Regina became a cooter.
Oh, thank you, Regina. Welcome.
Thank
We're
you,
not
Essie.
on the Cooter channel.
I used to show some of my gardening. I think I'll do that.
We saw your melons last year.
Yeah, they were beautiful melons, weren't they? And then something fucking ate my best one.
Look at this.
That is Last of Us shit, isn't it?
Jian, 33, and Zhengyang Liu, 34, both citizens of the People's Republic of China, were charged in a criminal complaint with conspiracy, smuggling goods to the United States, false statements, and visa fraud. Look at one of them worked at U of M.
Mm-hmm.
Her boyfriend works at a Chinese university. Noxious fungus causes head blight. What's that? It causes vomiting, liver damage, and reproductive defects in humans and livestock.
It's a scab. Head blight is a scab. It causes heads to bleach, carnals to shrink and wrinkle, and can contaminate the grain. So basically, just impact. It's not like our heads blight. It's like the actual impacts are. Thank you, Sammy.
Wow, and he worked in a lab at the University of Michigan. Screw
Sure
that
did,
shit, man.
just for you.
Mm-mm.
I'm glad they caught him.
Mm-mm-mm.
No.
Oh,
Dark
God. Are you kidding me?
No, you cannot. You're ballsy as shit.
You really are.
I'll give you that.
You
You're
gotta love
ballsy as
that.
shit.
You gotta love that.
I give the credit where the credit's due, but I have no association to you. Can I come up?
That had to be in your chat.
What? That wasn't my chat.
Was it yours or mine?